I see people getting there, and I always tell them, y'all niggas got a screw loose. Because you got to have a screw loose to get in the fucking cage.
So you think I got a screw loose? Is that what you're saying? You think I got a screw
hell
loose?
yeah, nigga got a screw loose.
Oh, nigga, fuck you, nigga.
So
Nah. Fuck all that.
I want to thank me.
Hey.
To all the young people out there.
I'm here because of you.
How do I get rich?
You're gonna suffer the difficulty of being invisible.
400 trillion to
I'm this million nobody.
But it's more important to be nice.
No, you should be capable of it.
Until I started winning.
Cause on a mission, your worst enemy is idle.
Right. So we got Idle Time Podcast. We got the King, Bobby Green, fucking legend. Bobby, thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure to be on, brother. Fucking with real niggas, you know. Let's go.
Go, real nigga activities. So right now, before camera, we were talking about Nipsey Hussle. We was talking about investing money. We was talking about just motherfuckers stop making the same old mistakes in life. So, but to get a little bit more into the podcast mood, first things I want to talk about with you is give us a little breakdown about, I would say you can start from wherever you want to start from, Bobby Green before it became King Bobby Green.
Shoot. Man, life is hard, bro. Like, for me, personally, it was like, I got, my first days I remember, like, being alive and like that. I remember, okay, life is hard. The first days are like, your first memories, I remember walking from city to city, you know, like type shit, where I was just so tired. And I remember I was like 4 years old. My mom had a newborn, and my little brother, and he was still little where I couldn't get carried, so I had to walk. You know what I mean? My big brother, he could only carry me for so long, and he'd be like, man, you gotta walk. And so walking from city to city, my mom just had a real bad drug problem, so she would get on them drugs. She'd be on what she on. My dad, he was in jail. He was a gangster running around and shooting people up. He got shot. He went and shot somebody back. And he went to prison for like 6 years. And so I was living with my grandma. But my grandma got us through foster care because they didn't know that my dad was I was his actual child. Like, my mom named me Green, but really my family name is Davis. But I'm the only Green. There's no other Greens. Her last name is Scott, and she just named me Green, you know? She said an officer saved her life, and so she named me Green after this nigga for some reason. But anyway, after that point, I was in foster care with my grandma. I got all my upbringing from her. You know, she was just old, like old school, like when she lived in the times of racism. So she was like, hey, be careful with white people and how you move. And she told me, yes, sir, no, ma'am, and stuff like that. And then from there, so when it started getting crazy is when she died. When she died is when I had to, like, I really kind of started spiraling and going out and learning about life. I was about 15.
15? And you in San Bernardino this whole time?
So my grandma, we stayed in San Bernardino, but then we moved to Rialto. So I'm like on the borderline of Rialto and Fontana.
Kentucky.
Yeah. And so I'd have to wake up every morning and walk 5 miles because we were on the edge of this where they said, well, it's too many people to go to that school, this school. They had just built A.B. Miller, so I had to walk 5 miles every morning. Every morning. I walk 5 miles, and if anybody know about Fontana, we got these Fontana winds and shit. Mm-hmm. It's fucking crazy. So,
my mom didn't get her license till she was 36. So that walking around everywhere, that was it. We had to walk around everywhere and catching all the public transit we can get on every government assistance program you can fucking think of. Shit is tough, but I'm happy it did because it kind of turned into the mindset that you almost needed you as an adult when you turn 25, 26. You grew up at 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
You're ready to take on the world. And it's funny because like people with shelter, they turn 25, 26. They have no fucking idea. They're starting to do adult shit for the first time at 24, when at 14, 15, we was already having to figure it out or else.
They got a famous saying. I don't know exactly how it go, but I want to say something like, hard time makes strong men. Strong men make easy times make weak men, you know? And so we're back to that point where we have to deal with that. And from not having nothing makes you strive to have something, you know? Where I saw my other homies, I'd be jealous of them because they got their mom and their daddy, and they be treating them like shit. I'd be like, man, that's fucked up. You don't even know what it feel like to have a dad.
My mom the other day at her birthday told me, like, shut up. I wouldn't let almost too many people on this planet say some crazy shit like that to me the way she said it. But my cousin sitting next to me too, and he lost his mom at a young age. So I always put myself in the mindset of he wishes his mom could tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah.
So while I'm complaining right in my head, I have to know I get to have a mom to cuss me out. It's one of my quotes up there. I remember
Facts.
somebody had it worse and did it better.
Man.
And I'm going through it. I'm pretty sure you're going through it. I'm trying to figure out how to raise my son, the right way, because I can raise him as a street kid, but he's not, right? He has a little bit of money. I'm thinking, I don't know how to raise a kid with money. I know how to raise me. So it's going to be a different transition because I don't want him to be the weak times type person. And right now, you have a daughter, right? She looks like I haven't
I got 3 kids. I
three
got
kids. Okay, I
one
see
black,
daughter on
one
this
white, and one Mexican.
shit. My sons have Mexican. Do you have any boys?
I got 2 boys and 1 girl.
How is it right now? Like having a little bit of bread and having kids.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. Like with this shit, I'm gonna keep it all the way at thou. We talking real nigga shit. I don't know. I don't know.
Just kind of day by day or what?
It's like you had your daddy?
Nigga was in prison from 2 to 7. He got out. He remarried. Which made sense.
He remarried and left?
Yeah, he married and lived in a different city, and then from
He didn't take you with him?
No, we live with my mom. He actually tried to take us from my mom. So my dad came and like tried to, did the whole custody shit, tried to take us. My mom on his back. But after that, he moved to Arizona. And I've seen him maybe 6 times since he moved and I was 12.
Same
Man,
same situation.
I
Same
love him, but at
situation.
the same time, I love him. He could watch this too, but I ain't gonna cry when he passed. It's not that deep. And then find out 7 days ago, he ain't my daddy anyway. I had a test the other day, and my mom,
Damn.
they all knew. He knew, my mom knew since 1997. That wasn't my daddy anyway. So the
Damn.
half daddy I had that wasn't barely there wasn't my real daddy anyway. And
Damn.
the dude that was my dad, I just searched him up like 4 days ago, went and found some cousins, and turns out he passed in 2016. So I'm sitting here.
Damn. That's
This is
crazy.
all fresh news. This day by
Yeah.
day. That shit, I might get a text right now with some updates. This is all
That's
fresh.
fucking crazy. And
I
so
feel you.
I'm asking you that because I had the same similar situation. My dad came home and I was like 12 years old, and then he didn't married and moved on the same way, and so I never really got an opportunity to see a man, be a man, and how you be around like every home I was in, for the most point, most of the men were missing. You know what I mean? It was single moms, and the moms looked out for me, but the ones that had men, the men be looking like, hey, when he gotta go, and hey,
Especially as you get older.
especially as you get older.
hell yeah.
When it was cool, when I graduated when I was 17. So when I was 17, 18, it was like, all right, he's still a kid. But I noticed something. I felt it when I was like 21, where, hey, they start saying, hey, nah.
Grown-ass man in
You're
the house.
getting treated like a grown man now. And so I had to grow up real fast,
And it's fair. I tell them, like, once we start fucking and shit, it's all right that them try to treat us like we've grown. Because a lot of kids these days, they want to be fucking and sucking and getting pictures sent to them. But at the
But
same
then
time,
acting
on
like they
Wednesday,
kid.
Thursday, they want to act like the child. And I'm the
Yeah.
baby. You can't be the baby and growing at the same time. But
So-
that's tough because you send a kid out in the world at maybe 20, 21, but you realize you never trained him how to be out in the world. But we just go old school sayings of, oh, they grown, they got to go. Go where? Go how?
I really didn't I'm just learning through trial and error. Same way, I learned, hey, don't do that. That got me fucked up. I can tell them that more so.
Yeah.
But then my life is unique in its own way too. Is because I got 3 kids in 3 different places, I got to be in all these different places to try to connect with them, and I'm gonna be on the road and be
And whole career.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
keeping up with them, you got to keep moving, right? And you're one of the most active fighters in the UFC. You try to stay active.
So
but
even
it's a lot.
that, it's like the baby mamas be low key on my head. Like I had a conversation with one of my baby mamas' moms, so his grandma. She was like, "Be honest, I think that you do more for the other kids than you do for this one. Like you just don't be." I'm like, "Mom, let's break that down." And I'm like, "Listen, I fought this many times this year. The average fighter fights half that amount of time.
Yeah.
So if I got this many fights with this much time to get ready, like how much time does that leave me? How much time does that leave me?" Then she really thought about it because she was listening.
Yeah.
She's like, "Man, you really ain't got no time."
Yeah, you have to break it down sometimes because fight camps, traveling again. You tell people, man, you fight more than most people's favorite fighters fight, and that's the real shit. And then these days with baby mamas, they can just Google how much you made. That's tough, because now everybody's in your money, and we can go over that too in a little bit because we both kind of from nothing to something. And again, I always tell people, well, I ain't rich. I'm rich adjacent, right? I got enough to where I don't want shit, I can have basic shit. I can have a few cars, but I'm not a fucking cash cow either. But can't tell nobody that. Them motherfuckers, hands are is gonna be out all day the moment they count your pockets. And having three different baby moms, three different places, I can imagine. That's as your pay keeps going up. I don't know, but that sounds like that could be
Child support, be some issues. You know what I mean?
between California taxes and child support.
Yeah,
That'll
whipping
get you.
nigga ass.
Yeah,
Whipping nigga ass. And then so have to explain to him I'm trying to be the business fighter, but I'm trying to be the father of the year too. Well, I only really get to see my kids on the weekends, you know? And so I try to give them as much time as I can. At the same time, allow them to still be kids and have fun with them, you know? And so because why? It's only the weekend we got. So I want to just make sure I make a message for them, tell them certain things. Because for the other thing I gotta deal with is because I got three different kids in different places. Their mamas hated me at a certain time when things was bad. And so what they would do is they would be talking about me. And my kids built this complex about me.
Facts.
I'm like, man, what's
Well,
wrong?
your
Like,
daddy was, and your daddy is, and your daddy
Bro.
ain't, and all that. And again, if there's nobody else to tell them that's not all true, I can be like, some of it's true, but the way she explained it, it ain't. It's context.
Exactly.
That's just bullshit. And unfortunately, women operate a lot of emotions, and not every baby mama's like that. But unfortunately, right now, if you let the story tell it, it seems more often than not, if they don't like you, nobody's supposed to like you, and that includes your kids, because kids can't be sitting here saying how great daddy is when mama hates you. So they influence. And but I would say most of the time, as kids become adults, like full-fledged adults, and get mature, they realize what it is.
Yeah.
They realize.
But a lot of times the body broken and be fucked up by then. I look at that always like I noticed that with all the kids, they always hated their daddy as a kid. And then they find out later on.
Yep.
But it's a lot of later on, they don't really fuck with him now like that. They didn't built up this complex and all this.
Yep.
By the time they find out, their relationship hasn't been close like that.
They realized it wasn't all true, but at the end of the day, you almost drove the dad away, making the relationship so fucking hard to rekindle.
To give up. Thousands times I wanted to quit with my kids, where I was like, man, fuck this. I'm tired of going to court. I'm tired of getting pressed. I'm tired of everybody judging me and what I'm doing and who I ain't doing it for. And it's just a lot of issues like that. It's just, but I'm a real nigga, bro. I got big shoulders. This shit was.
You grew up with the dad gone and back and forth, so you grown. So I can't tell you what to do, but obviously you seem like you already know. Like we say, I try to be. At least do that.
I know some of my darkest secrets as kids. So it's like, oh, you did this, you did this. I cheated or something like that.
Yeah.
They know all that stuff, And so I'm like, man, I got to explain to them where I was at and why I did and why I moved at that time. But it's just, I want to wait for them to be older and to get those.
Be able to tell them straight to your face. Oh, I fucked up. I ain't say straight. Exactly. I fucked up.
So I just focus more so on my relationship with them. Over time, the truth always come out. Always having good times and making sure that I'm being the best father I can, and it'll just show itself at the end. I bought because where I'm from, I've been homeless. I didn't been without, and I've been in 50 different homes. All I want was a home for myself. Now with my kids, I got each one of them a home, and now I'm just trying to pay them all off, make sure they're all paid off. And that's my thing. My gift to my children is you get something that I didn't get.
Y'all will never be homeless. At least if your daddy can keep going for a few more years. One thing y'all won't be is ever without a house. It might, I don't know how the house will stand up over the test of time, but you'll have one. You have a fucking roof, you have a room, you have a bathtub.
Pay property taxes. You know what I mean? You could work at Burger King.
Yeah, and keep it easy. Look, you in town after fresh off of UFC 300. Take the Triper truck around Vegas and
so we gotta tell the viewers. Basically, this nigga called me and was like, I got the new Tesla. You want to come out and see it? I was, to be honest, I'm in my hotel room, low key. I'm like,
so he texts me
coming down. I'm getting bothered and shit. You want to go? You want to go first? You go first.
So, okay. I bought tickets from him. So he texts me. I'm supposed to pull up at his Airbnb. So I would have pulled up in the truck all the same. But then, that's the only car I had in Vegas. But he texted me that he was at New York, which is where I'm staying. I'm at a UFC event that night. I'm like, okay, how long are you gonna be there? And I was like, so I can either, you can meet me outside. One, I'd rather him meet me outside anyway, because I was trying to get back and forth to where I'm doing in Vegas. But he was like, no, I'm inside. I'll be here for like an hour. I was like, you want to come out and see the Cybertruck? And he hit me with the Nah, I'm good. That shit low key ugly to me. I was like, hey,
All right,
teach
now
his
you done
own.
got your side out the way.
Nigga, I got
You done
tape.
told
We
your
got receipts.
boring ass side. Let me tell my side.
All
Your
right,
boring
speak to
ass
me. We got receipts, so make
So,
sure.
so first of all, you pulling up and shit, you gotta get the ticket. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, bro, every time I'm going down there, I'm getting bombarded by people.
Yeah,
That's
for
why I don't
sure,
want
for
to come
sure.
out to you. Yo, ass like, you want to come out and see the truck? I'm
That's
like,
true.
bro, I don't want to get fucked up by these people. I done went down like 5 times already to grab my people and
Yeah.
been dealing with it already. So it's like, I'm kind of over that shit. I'm trying to get you to come upstairs.
Hey, well, see, I would have went upstairs, but you told me to meet you at the escalators. But you
Well,
didn't tell
because
me
you
that
can't get
part.
up there without the fucking key.
That shit, I only on my end, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So look, what's happening right here is I'm looking at a 6, he's looking at a 9. None of us are wrong. We just looking at it from 2 different ends. I'm gonna
He
leave it
got
at
so
that.
hurt by that shit. He got so hurt by me
Shit, all
going.
right.
And now
But
that I
when he
see it in
pulls up
person,
here, look, he pulls up here. I'm not gonna lie, my Cybertruck shitting on his car. Barely. I don't know. This shit kind of nice. This shit kind of clean.
it's preference.
This
It's
shit is kind of
It's
clean.
preference.
I ain't never seen a drop top
You ain't
Range
seen
Rover.
that. You gonna see this other shit. You ain't gonna see that.
I've never
And
seen a drop top
it's like,
Range Rover.
everybody got right now. They doing the status symbol. If you got the Cybertruck, you got the little status, symbol. and
Yeah,
shit.
but see, I'm a low key nigga, but I like the truck in general.
So
Buy
I
a
don't like
truck.
to be the trendy nigga that like, all right, I got what everybody got type shit. And so when you tell me, I'm like, nigga, like, everybody trying to post that shit right now. But when I
But
actually
it's
see
easy to
yours
say.
now,
Look, it's easy to say that when niggas don't got reservations either and can't get one. It's easy to be like, fuck that truck, the car I can't have. But no, it's different. But technically, again, I could have gave you a reservation. If you ever want one, I do have like one.
yeah,
So
you mentioned it. I
just let me know.
like I really
Because you can obviously
into,
flip it. It could be whatever.
yeah.
The King Green Mobile, that big. If you wrap it the same way you wrap some shit, you wrap it in the Damu red paisley. It'd be a fucking statement.
Nah, see, it's the way
Unfortunately,
you did your shit though. Now I'm actually in person with your shit. I'm like,
you gotta
that
make it
shit
different.
hard.
You gotta make it different.
That shit hard.
Because honestly, when it was silver, it's cool to see because it's like, oh shit, I haven't seen that car. But if I had to keep it silver, I would call it ugly too.
That's what I'm saying. I've been seeing the silver joints.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that shit just look like a robot. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, everybody gets the
it's
robot.
the Marty McFly DeLorean, but if he made a truck.
I feel
That's
that way
pretty
about my
much-
Tesla, bro. Like, I don't even like driving that shit. Sometimes
My
it's
wife
just like,
thinks Tesla's ugly.
I mean, I feel like we're all a bunch of drawings. You know what I mean? Just, you run around and shit.
All the cars I have, you see my cars. Challenger's my favorite one. People are like, really? Not the Range Rovers and G-Wagon and the Audi and A7? I'm like, telling you, a Challenger. Like if I'm going to Vegas or I'm pulling up at an event, I might pull up in a G-Wagon, right? Because your brand. At that point, you're branding, right? You don't walk around with the Joker face all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Right? You walk, that's when it's time and place for everything. So you know how to brand yourself, which was, by the way, moment you wore that, I don't know if you noticed, but you probably did. Your career, it was great. Motherfuckers loved it. It was fresh. The first time you wore it was like 2 years ago. I don't know, it was Arizona or whatever it was.
No, I was in New York. So I'm
New
like,
York?
nigga, I'm in New York.
It was
It
New
feels
York.
some Batman feel. The whole city feel dark and shit. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna do something different. You know what I'm saying? You know, the crazy part about it is the UFC yelled at me about that shit.
They?
Yeah,
That's
they was
funny.
like,
They actually
hey,
became a draw right after because of it.
bro.
Sometimes they don't know what they're talking about.
And then they selling shirts with the same shit on it. I'm like, hey, y'all motherfuckers was mad at me about doing this shit. Now you making money from this shit. What the fuck?
It's like college football. Like
Yeah.
college football. But nah, I peeped it. I follow UFC enough. And I remember when I first met you, I don't know if you remember that. It was like post weigh-in meet and greet. You was wearing a red jacket, some I think red pants on.
I'm always
flamed up, right?
always in red.
You was flamed up. And I'm meeting all these fighters. I met Bilal, I met Dynamite Dan. And at that point, I had only heard of you. So when I walk up to some nigga, I'm like he first thing he said to me, I asked him, I was like, how much you weigh right now? He's like 185. He's like, you might think a nigga your size. Never heard of UFC fighter speak normal. Right? Everybody speaks, most of them, they play the game, as they should. So it threw me off. Who's this nigga with the jewelry on and Damu?
Where do we meet at?
We met, I think it was Vegas.
Because I want
It
to
was in
say
Vegas. It was in
met
Vegas
some,
after a
like-
weigh-in. MGM weigh. It was an MGM weigh-in. It was right after the weigh-in. They had Dynamite, Walt Harris, you.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna
It's like
say.
some little room.
Yeah, okay, now I remember exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
some
yeah,
little
that.
room. You was in the all red. Look, I got the picture of Dynamite up there. It was the same far right, second from the top. I was wearing a red I'm broke shirt. And so I had the Damu shirt on too, pretty much. I was fresh off of fucking COVID. I had just lost some fucking like 20 pounds off a
We got
ventilator.
stuck in that room,
Yeah.
and you popped up, and
And
you
it
was
was
just
cool.
like,
I was
"Oh,
talking to
okay,
the fighters
what's
and
up?"
shit, but I never talked to no fighter that was like real nigga. Like this nigga had the jewelry on, he had the whole thing, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a fighter too. My wife, she's like, I don't know. She never. I was like, let me go speak. I was like, the nigga looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. And to me, it didn't matter if he was a fighter. The fact that you talked to me like a regular nigga, you didn't talk down to nobody. You didn't put yourself like above everybody. As long as everybody's respectful, you're respectful. And I was like, okay, so UFC does hire like niggas, because John Jones is one of my favorite fighters, but that's a difference between niggas and black people.
Duh. And that's what, and bro, that's the point I've been trying to get to is like, I try explaining to Rampage. I'm talking to Rampage. I was telling him the same shit. I'm like, listen, all y'all niggas got in because y'all had the black folk card.
Mm-hmm.
I had the nigga card, bro. And so like if we go back to it, Rampage got in because he had all of Japan.
Yep.
So he had all the pride and all that
All
stuff.
the pride, they
You know
fucked
what I
with
mean?
him deep. Man.
Jones had all the wrestling world and stuff like that. Rashad had the show
Tough.
and
Yeah, tough.
you know what I mean? Melvin
he's a
Gillard
he's a
had tough.
company man too. And some of them are like they're approachable black people. People like us, they call rough around the edges. White people like to say, "Oh, he's cool," but they're rough around the edges. That's when what they mean.
No, but I would say even Melvin Gillard would be rough around the edges.
Yeah,
That's what Melvin Gillard got in, but he got on off the show. So that's what I'm saying. Kimbo got in because he had all the internet.
They hated Kimbo, but they made money.
And so all these niggas got in that way. You know how I got in? I got in from Strike Force.
Strike Force, fuck the shit up.
But the thing is, this is the thing about Strike Force. I got in because low key, say, all right, you two niggas are supposed to fight each other. All right, y'all supposed to fight each other. All of a sudden, you get hurt. You fall out the fight. They can need somebody to call to throw the show.
Phone call,
It's only 3 weeks left. They call me. I said, yeah, I got it. Oh, yeah, I'll do it.
You got to check?
I'll make this shit happen on 3 weeks' notice. So, all right, I'm starting to train for the fight now. No, I've been sitting at the house smoking. Now I got to fight. I got to jump up and get this shit ready.
Get as much wind as you can before the fight.
I hop up. I'm gonna fight the nigga, whatever. But now he find out he fighting me. He pull out. And he was the main guy. Like one of the guys was Randy Couture's son.
Yeah.
And so I was fight Randy Couture's son, and then he pulls out. Now I'm fighting this guy. And this guy pulls out. Then this guy pulls out. I wouldn't find out sometimes to the last week of who I'm fighting. But I was basically the point I'm trying to get to is that I was a show feeling. They called me all the time like that. 2 weeks notice. Like I had to fight Josh Thompson as. No, not UFC, but I had to fight him where they didn't even. I think it was like 2 weeks notice for that one. They didn't even have me on the poster or nothing. I had the sign on Michael Johnson's face.
The Islam was 6 days. What? It's 6 days. 10-day notice. But that's some gangster shit. But that's your best ability. Sometimes is availability, and that's one thing that we talked about earlier. Is you stay busy. You're gonna stay fighting. And I think people, the difference is, I look at it the same with me. I grew up fighting anyway. So every time you tell me I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna get paid for it, I might fuck around and fight at the grocery store. Like, you gonna pay me a couple hundred, look, the money's right, let's do it. Like, I can get into shape. Another thing I want to ask you about fighting.
You ever been in a fight before? You ever had a professional fight yet?
Professional fight? No, I can't fucking wait. I wanna do. I don't care who it is.
I think I'm not trying to knock you or anything, but when you talking is like that's cool. But I feel like I got some other homies that say that, but then they walked on the other side of the wall, and what they notice is that like at this big heavyweight homie, he'd be like, "Bro, I'll fight anybody. Like right now, if you get me, I'll fight anybody." Once you put that fucking clock on it, I would say the clock or the time's ticking down. Hey, it's a month from your fight. 3 weeks from your fight.
Nerves. I believe there's nerves.
Now them nerves kick in and perform under the lights.
They call it casuals, right? I'm not one of those. I've had motherfuckers 125 pounds throwing 35 pounds. People like, oh, you whoop. My girl asks me all the time when there'll be fighters in the ring, like fucking your weight 155. She's like, you think you could take him? I'm like, fuck no. I was like, don't get me wrong. If we fought 10 times, you're not gonna beat me at it 10 times because physics is gonna play a part. I'm 255. I don't disrespect fighters when I'm like, I can do it. One thing I want to ask you though is most people, a lot of people I've talked to Cowboy Cerrone in person, Ocho Peterson, they all say the same. Once they get like knocked out, they always say sometimes they want to take like a year off. They might need a year off. You're one of the few people I've ever seen. Fuck it, I lost, but 3, 4, 5 months in, you're back at it. How do you do that versus a lot of fighters that would love to take a year or two off after being knocked out?
Um, my thing more so is like, I guess maybe you should. I would suggest that depending upon your fighting style. But I'd be kind of like, all right, if I've had a fight with you, right? Or let's just say all my past fights, I'd be feeling like I was winning the fight up until a certain point, until I got caught. And so in my head, it's like I know people are gonna go, "Hey, you just got knocked out. You're a loser." But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Bro, I'm better than that guy. He just kind of caught me."
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
it.
And there's sometimes where people throw a Hail Mary and it's gonna catch it. No, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Ooh, I understand that part. But now let me show y'all. Skills pay the bills. I'll go back out. I just got knocked out by Jalen. I'm like, oh, bro, I'll come right back, put a great performance on where I'm gonna show you I haven't missed a step, I haven't missed a beat. That was just some shit that
Yeah,
sometimes
you
you get caught.
motherfuckers get caught. Most fights for you, Bob, if you ever go to decision, you're gonna win. Most people are not gonna outstrike you. We're gonna get to that, like hands down or not. The Drew Dober fight, I fuck with Drew Dober. He was not winning the fight, and if you guys fought again, the result would be very similar up until if you get caught or not. You're gonna tip him up. You're gonna cut him up. You're gonna tip him up. You're faster. You're to me, you're better defense.
I'm gonna beat you. I'll beat him up. I'll beat him up.
The difference is you motherfuckers get caught.
And the other thing was this: we had to fight in the Apex,
Yeah, that's true.
where it's that little cage. I had to fight Islam in that little cage.
Mhm.
It'd be different. It's
Especially
a
for a
big
spatial
difference.
fighter, for a
Yeah,
spatial fight.
it's a big difference when you fight in that big cage. Knock
Close
it,
the distance real
get it
quick.
and turn, and I can move a little better and more.
Mhm.
That's just meant for, hey, as you locked in the Apex, you just locked in, ain't no moving, just get it and go.
I put in a lot of bets for UFC 300, right? Bunch of 13 parlays, one bet. And I have receipts. I don't say shit. One bet that didn't change. I'll bet Alex wins. I'll bet Jamal wins, depending on your card. Make sure I try to play all sides. I never changed the Bobby Green Jim Miller bet because no offense, Jim is great. Fuck Jim, fucking Miller. There is no way on God's green earth, short of him catching you, that he was going to beat you in that fight. And even if he caught you, if he hits hard, I'm like, but Bobby's been hit hard. I was like, Jim probably hits hard, but I was like, I don't think he's hitting like Drew Dober is hitting.
Yeah.
Right? Drew Dober fights to me, he's really he's still 170. Maybe I think when they had that 165, Drew Dober might go in there and be able to be great. That's like a perfect weight for him.
Yeah.
I was like, but Jim is a good dude. I was like, but I don't see him sleeping Bobby. I was like, let's see that first couple times he catches him. Let's see. He caught you that first couple times, did nothing. I think that was it. That was it for me.
And when he called me, everybody says that stuff. It's like, nah, he hit me, but he had my foot too. If you look at the video slowly, he has my foot in his hand as he's hitting me. And so he's holding my foot and I fell back. And I'm like, they're thinking like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, I'll pop back up real fast.
Quick. You put a master class on Mr. UFC 100, 200, 300. I was like, damn, that sucks. The 300 bonus is there, but I think Max Holloway outshadowed you. Everybody gives Max Holloway the shout out for saying let's get it down in the middle of the ring after already winning the fight. You did the same thing. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
You did it first. You always do
say
it. Like Jim Miller was gone. Fight was not even close. He's bloody and beat the fuck up. And same thing. You pointed at the ground and let's get with it and dropped him.
Yeah.
And it's like it got, but I think Max outshadowed you. And I think obviously being one of the second fights of the night, changed. If that was a pay-per-view, you get $300,000 for you, because any regular pay-per-view that's not 300, you would have been the fifth card, the fifth the main card, or the fourth one. You would have been the main card, most likely not prelims anymore, or the last prelim of the night. And you do that to Jim Miller as a sixth fight, you get $300,000. You do it as a second fight, everybody's they're hyped about Max Holloway.
That's the way the card carries. Is the more weight it carries more weight as it gets closer towards the main event. And so if you have a good showing at the beginning of the card, it's like cool, but everybody's coming for the main card. And so if you're on the main card, you do a good showing.
The crowd's not even in for the fucking first couple of fights.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people pitching that, hey, you should fight for the BMF. You should do BMF. And I've been like, man, I think I got so sidetracked on. I think for me, it's like I've been doing this little walk the yard thing where, hey, that motherfucker been talking about you. Now I gotta go
Yeah.
beat his ass. Well, I'm gonna beat his ass. Hey, that motherfucker was talking about you too. Oh, I'm gonna go beat his ass, you
Yeah.
know? And so I've been more on that shit than focusing on anything else, you know?
I hear you. I think you did the call out, even if the fight didn't come to fruition. I think the crowd would have lost their fucking mind.
Both said we're both the best boxers. And
Yeah.
stuff.
So I think that matchup was crazy for a BMF title.
I feel like
But
people going always say, well, fuck, why we Bobby Green, you know? And so it's like,
fuck him.
because it's your positioning. Like Max is close to a belt.
BMF it's one of the only times you might be able to fight a Max.
That's why
without
I
it
feel
being a
like it.
title
Yeah,
contender.
I feel like where we're talking about BMF, we're talking about bad motherfuckers. We're not talking about numbers, you know.
Numbers, yeah.
And so that's the other thing too. Is my other side is like, I mean, bro, if we just talking about bad motherfuckers that are gonna go in there and do what the fuck they supposed to
That's
do,
what people left.
you know, let's do it in that terms, you know. But I just feel like people gonna be saying that, like, oh well, he's like way back there and he's gonna fight way up here, and
Them dudes don't qualify for what the title's supposed to stand for. So if they're gonna make it a real belt and it wasn't a novelty, they're gonna really push it for the bad motherfuckers.
be honest, bro, who respects what? I respect the BMF belt because it's just a bad motherfucker, bro.
The way I grew up, the way they explained it, the Masvidal had it, and the Nate Diaz. When you make Masvidal and Nate Diaz to the fighters for it, you pretty much saying you got to be some version of a motherfucking thug or that dude. You can't be considered a nice guy in any way and fight for the BMF. You got to be somebody people hate.
Come on now, think about it. Okay, Gaethje is a nice guy. He does some nice fucking things, but he's still just a fucking warrior, a savage.
Who's gonna take it? Because what if Max fights Armand? Is Armand gonna take the belt?
Armand ain't no BMF yet.
He's not. But again,
it ain't exciting enough.
If you beat,
This is what it's got to be. You get the fucking bonuses.
yeah,
You're a
that's the
bonus
ones.
guy. That lets you know right there who they like and what's going on.
Right? Oliveira, people to give it to him, and he's a nice guy. But that motherfucker, he's a finisher. He finishes people. Right?
Point. That's why he gets his bonuses.
To me, you qualify. I just want to see one day what happens with the.
Shit, I
they
should
really keep
qualify. I've gotten
pushing.
almost 10 fucking bonus fight of nights or
Yeah,
whatever,
for
you
sure.
know. And so I should qualify.
Including headlining twice at the Apex, one with a finish, one on 10-day notice. They keep, if they're gonna preach you, this is why I love Bobby Green. He takes any fucking fight and blah blah blah. And Che was talking about. Well, that sounds like a BMF. If any fucking body's a BMF, that sounds like a fucking BMF.
Right now I'm focused on Patty, bro. It's right now Patty.
I think that's a great. I think that's a great match.
He's on the 5-win streak, you know, and so I got to shut him down.
Patty's chin is fucking informative. I'm not gonna lie, that motherfucker's chin is great. He gets touched, but that dude does not get rocked. But he's not been touched as fast and consistent. Jared put on a great fight. You're faster. You're gonna touch him more. Patty's gonna bleed. It's gonna be a whole different thing. You guys go 3 rounds. It's gonna be the first time I think Patty's ever saw his face bloody in a long time.
It goes 3 rounds in his backyard. That kind of sucks. It's played a close game.
But you know how it works. If you let it go to decision, no matter what you do, they're gonna give it to Patty. So
That's what I'm
if
saying.
you fight Patty, you gotta try to be the one to finish him.
So I put all the opportunity in his corner.
Yeah.
All the opportunity in his corner so that it's with his people, in his backyard. You know what I'm saying? You got all the opportunities to win. If his go to decision, it's going to go to you. And so you got all the opportunities to win.
The fight ends in him sleeping you because you're gonna tip him up and he's gonna have to catch you, or it ends with one of those you got robbed in decision. Because I watch Patty, he's great. Ain't no way he's gonna beat you 3 rounds straight on striking. So short of a TKO or a KO, he's not gonna beat you striking. He couldn't beat Tony Ferguson. He was barely beating Tony Ferguson striking. I love Tony, but it's not gonna work out. I think you have the same result you have against Jim Miller against Patty, except the difference is does Patty touch, find your chin. That's the only way. Because you're still gonna go in there with your hands down. You're still gonna go do your thing that made you who you are. But like you said, the advantages all go to him. If he can't seize the opportunity at this point, that's on him.
Young kid ready to fight, you know, ready to get tested in his own.
But tell me about the bully beatdown thing, man.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of finding out a little about him, you know, and they do their little promo or whatever.
Yeah.
Clips is going to drop. And then, okay, cool. So then I've never really seen him though. And so I'm getting really warmed up and shit. And we got like a curtain like that. He yelled, "You a bitch." I'm like, what? So I'm like, oh, he don't know who it is behind these curtains. And I don't know who he is either. But when we see each other, oh, I'm gonna get his ass. You know, it's up. You
And he
know.
goes by the name King too, which is crazy.
Yeah. Kid,
King
Evermont
some-
King or some shit like
Yeah.
that. His last name was King. So
King Evermont.
Evermont King.
Yeah.
And so we get to go in first round. They do is grappling and jiu-jitsu, and you got to tap them out. You tap them out 5 times, they lose $1,000 every time, and so it's $5,000 on the line. Every time you tap them, they lose one. So I was planning on tapping him. I was just picking him up and slamming the fuck out of him. Pow, 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 you know. And he said that shit after. He was like, "Man, after he slammed me the first time, I was seeing colors." I was like, "Oh shit." And so I'm punking his ass now, just like I'm bringing that street shit to him.
Yeah.
And so he looked at me. I was like, now that was just a warm up. We talking to sock your ass. I'm talking shit to him, and he just bitched out.
The second round, and they don't. Did they air it? Because they're not supposed to air it right after if it doesn't.
Now they aired it because it was
Because it was
like
just
the first time you ever seen that, you know, where the bully's like, "Fuck this shit." So they had to air that one. It's just one of the best episodes on that shit.
But as long as you got paid. But that shit right there, that's some beautiful shit. I didn't know that show even existed, but when it did, they should bring that shit back because a lot of people these days need to get touched.
I made like $1,500 off that show.
Hey, easy 1,500 and on MTV.
There's this shit called Felony Fights. You ever heard of
Yeah.
it? Back in the days, Felony Fights was real big, and they'd be having these backyard fights, you know.
Mhm.
And so in high school, I already did some backyard fighting with the homies. We used to have our own backyard clique and shit. We'd go around fighting each other from high school and shit. So I'm watching Felony Fights, and it's this bald-headed white dude. He all tatted up and shit. He get on top, beat the nigga, get on top of the nigga. He hit him a few times, and then he showed the nigga mercy. What the? Like, he just like, bro, he's fucked up. He's done.
Yeah.
You know? I just never forgot that guy. Like, that guy had compassion and shit.
You didn't have to.
You know what I mean? And so, fast forward, I bump into this nigga. Some random shit. I'm like, hey, you look familiar. Like, you that one dude, you know, from the fights. He's like, oh, yeah, what's up? I got a fight coming with the whoop. I'm a wrestler, you know. I tell him I'm a wrestler. And oh, if you come help me in the wrestling, I'll get you a fight. Well, oh, yeah, okay, cool. So I've been training with this guy, right? Been training with him for like a week. And then I take my shirt off after practice. Or we think we're going one more round. So I take my shirt off. He's like, nah, bro, nah. You can't do that. Put your shirt on. I can't concentrate. And so I was like, I was thinking about what he meant. I was
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? You know, I'm trying to put it, and it just finally hit me like, oh, this nigga gay, you know?
Yep.
And so I got nothing problem with gay people as long as you don't bring it to me. That's
Yeah,
what I told him.
hey,
As long
to
as you
each his
don't
own.
come to me, you know? So I'm
least he was
saying he
honest
was just
about
gay
the
dude,
shit.
but he didn't look gay. He had none of that. So he was my coach and shit. I'm teaching with him and shit. I was a broke little kid and shit. So I trained with him, then I ride back. And he be with his boyfriend and shit. And they be screaming and shit, but fighting each other. But it was cool is that I was like, I was a poor kid, so I'll get free weed with him and shit.
Free
so I be
weed,
smoking
training,
weed, free training.
It don't matter
Yeah.
your sexual preference. at this
Yeah.
point.
So I was cool with him, you know? And I was training there with them, and he got me my first little amateur fight. And so I fought this one kid, Aaron Miller, Aaron Bloodspiller Miller, I think his name was. And it actually was tough. Had a few fights and shit like that. This is my first one. And so I scrapped with him. I beat his ass up. And then after that, and the Mexican people finally found me and they split me and they showed me a card that you can fight on this shit. Because I was wrestling at this tournament and I was doing all kind of crazy like slams and flips and shit while I was doing this shit. And so it's like, man, he's hard. They showed me the card that you should fight. And showed me the card. And the same dude I fought in the amateur fight,
Yeah.
he was on
Bloodspiller Miller?
he was fighting, in the main event. I'm like, what the fuck?
The main event dude is a dude you beat up.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I could do this shit, you know? So I started fucking with these Mexican guys, and they would take me from here to Mexico, bro. I fight all the time. That's where I get this shit from. Is I originally, the way I was fighting every week, some type shit, you know what I mean?
Good shit.
Bro, I had to fight 3 times in one night. Bro, I had to fight on 24 hours notice. Bro, I had to fight one day and then fight another day tomorrow. Like, I had to do some crazy
Sounds like
shit.
you're just winning more often than losing if you can keep fighting like that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but then you run into, because you're always in those situations, you're always the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
You
You're
getting
fish.
fed to
You're
the
the
wolf.
fish.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you getting fed to the wolf. And be honest, that nigga fell out because he didn't want to get beat up. And so it's like, oh, you got somebody who want to fight? Yeah, I got somebody right here for him.
They try to make somebody else's career, so you're the
Yeah.
person they're trying to.
And I just go in there and
defeat.
fuck shit up, you know? But every once in a while, you'll run into one of those guys that was like, hey, he was tough. And I didn't understand it, you know? Like, for instance, my first loss, I think it was my third, fourth fight. I fought a wrestler for the first time, but I didn't know. I thought he was a nigga that was scrap. He'll fight a black dude.
Yeah.
And he went in there and wrestled for 2 or 3 rounds. And I'm like, oh, like cats be in here, they really don't want to fight. And then I had to learn, all right, get more of my wrestling shit and be prepared for the shot. Because I was just trying to swing him, and you know, you're all out of position to get taken down.
I was like, obviously, once you know you can get punched in the face and get back up, and you have the mental capability to do that, that's the first thing about any street fight, anything. And once you get hit in the fucking nose, and that fight and flight kicked in, and it wasn't flight, you're on a good path. I was like, because these dudes they be in their own head.
Going in there for the first time, not even the first time, every time it felt like that. It's just something about the day of the fight, when it's war day and you get in that cage, as soon as you touch that cage, it feel like nigga, I'm in some new planet, and what the fuck, you gotta get comfortable, you know? And then you see that nigga and he see you, and y'all know what's about to go down, and the risk, it changed the whole game up. Your whole your heart, your mind, your everything is on 10. And so, like, I try to tell all these fighters, just keep it going, you know, and don't forget about yesterday. Is because why? That shit felt like that all the time. And I used to always have that feeling every time I fought. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like, how can I get over this shit? So I told myself, it's like, I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And so I was on this message with my homies. We jumping off these motherfucking this big ass jump, you know, it's 2-3 stories and shit. I'm scared. I'm over there with the girls. I'm scared. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this shit. But one of the girls looked like she gonna do this shit. I'm like, man, I can't let this girl beat me.
Facts.
Fuck, I just ran and just jumped, you know? And the same thing with fighting, you just gotta keep jumping and keep jumping. And I was hoping it would get easier over time, you know?
Yeah.
And so when people see me, they're like, man, you look so relaxed, you make it look easy. It's just I just did it so much to the point where I could just get easier.
When Gilbert Burns told me the same thing, he's like, I'm always nervous. He's like, every time I'm walking out of the fucking tunnel, he's like, he's like, he didn't say fucking, he's like, I'm always nervous. He's like, it's just you, he's like, you get nerves. He's like, until we throw that first punch or I get that first hit, he's like, and then from there, he's like, it goes
You
back
afraid
to
of heights?
what you train. Me, I didn't fuck with roller coasters. So you know what I did?
Roller coasters.
I went to Six Flags, got on the tallest ride, got in the first row, and I went down.
What ride is that?
It was Goliath at the time.
A fight is kind of like Goliath.
Yeah.
And so you said, Gilbert said he'd be just when he walked out that tunnel. Fuck that. Once we are now got fight week coming, yeah, motherfucker starts going. Matter of fact, fuck that. A week through that, I watch all my fighters be watching these niggas. I watch their attitudes because they change. Their whole personality changed. The whole personality about them changes. They all of a sudden they more so like they get more antsy, they get more emotional, they get more fights with somebody at the gym. They arguing, they bitching about shit now. It's like all of a sudden because the edge is on, they're getting on edge. So it's already starting. So that's when you get on the ride. You get on the ride. All right, you sit on that seat, you're like, fuck, all right, fuck. You're like, and then you're like, you waiting there, like, everybody ready? You're like, oh, you want to think about, like, should I say no? Like, I'll get off this bitch. They're like, all right, fucking go. Ding, 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 all right, going. So now it's going. And then you start coming up to where it starts coming to this point, start going tick, 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 starts just going up. All right, now that's when you start coming to the actual, get into the event. You got to diet, you're stressing, you got to fight and get ready, and you're still having your warm-ups and getting everything ready for the actual fight, you know? And then when the weigh-ins actually come and you see each other, now that's the part where it starts going, we start getting to the now we get to the day of, and your hands get wrapped. Now we're getting to the top, you know? Then you hit that tunnel, and it's getting ready to, hear that, fuck it moment, you know? And I'm scared the whole time, you know? But to me, it's like, how do you, as a man, how do you deal with that fear?
For me, you just go through it. Keep the right circle around you and go through it.
Get busy. Get busy.
You heard that. So for my fighters that I sponsor, you heard the man yourself. The man that the most busy man probably in the UFC right now is telling you stay active, especially early in your career. Stay active.
Especially when it don't count. You like you need those touches. You need those touches. You need that time. Like sometimes I tell my fighters even too, and like if I feel like we're really whooping ass, I'm like, nah, like, go for a finish, go for a choke, go for something else. Like, oh, do this. You're like, if we're winning already, I want them just like I
Use
feel
this.
like they're comfortable.
Use it as
I want
reps.
get the
Get the
time
reps.
in, get your time in. I want you to get your time in. Be comfortable in here. You got to know, even though it's risky too, but skills pay the bills. Skills are going to pay the bills, and the more you stay sharp, and the more you do this, the more you get better at your skills.
So I got a question because you've been in situations where they try to make you the sheep, the fish, right? So one of my fighters, he fights in like 3-4 weeks, and he's a pro boxer. He's 2-0 or 1-1, very close first fight. He's fighting a guy who's this is guy's first pro fight, but the dude has 290 amateur fights and has won tournament. This kid should have been pro a long time ago. I guess they just patting his stats. I can't tell you why.
Tell him in that situation, I'd say fight your fight. I say fight your fight because I beat some guys who had 150 fights that I'm like, I didn't know till after.
Yeah.
I didn't know till after. And then my coach told me like, hey, bro, you just beat this one guy. He fucking, you know what I mean? We had found out so late.
Okay.
And so, but so just so they don't build up that complex.
Yeah. He already has a complex at this point. So I'm trying to negate. Yeah, I'm trying to negate his own brain going against him.
That shit is in your heart, okay? It's in your heart. You gonna go in these places where, like, I had to go to Brazil. Brazil's a tough place to fight at.
I believe you.
Tough place to fight at because they support the people. And I'm fighting a Brazilian that they love. It's like, hell no, they hate me, you know? And so you're gonna be in these places where it's the darkest. But who are you? You know? Who are you? And you gotta be able to willing to take that show over, you know? It's just in you or not, you know? I was watching one of the Super Bowls. It was the 49ers and the Seahawks. And so I always watch just the Super Bowls. I watch the highest partner competition. And one thing I was noticing was I was watching the quarterbacks and I was watching the eyes. And so I looked at the 49ers quarterback, that sorry ass Jimmy something at the time. We had Jimmy, you know, Garoppolo, yeah, that guy. And so he had this, like his eyes was big. He was
no poise.
He was looking around like he just looked like, you know. And then the Seahawks coach, quarterback, he just had this look in his eye. He had his fire, and he was, hey, you, and barking shit and telling and go. You know what I mean? He just had this fire in his eye, the eye of the tiger. You know, and so is it in you? It's like you could be down, you could be gangster, but it's different when you gotta now do it under the lights with these people. It's a whole nother animal. Nigga, you're like you'll punch some punches and feel a lot of out of breath for just because you just got zapped in the moment by the people and the energy and yeah, I'm like, oh shit. Just relax. All right, cool. Now I got more relaxed, but that's something that you have to deal with through a lot of fights. Where I'm like, oh, fuck all these people, and they're going against you. It eats on you.
So that's the be advice for you, Rob. Fight your fucking fight. It's coming from a striker, a professional, somebody that would get in the ring, somebody who's been put in the position as the sheep, the fish, and he's telling you, fight your fucking fight.
Be you on the moment. Be you on the moment. It's your time, and live it like it's your time. Because if you love it like you just got here, you know, you just got here, you're just in the stars, you're just looking at the lights, you look at everything, and you're just lost in the no. You got to be like you already been here. Like this is what you're doing, and you're planning on being here for a while. Own that moment, you know, be in that moment.
There's a quote from I think it was Dave Chappelle, but he could have took it from somebody else, and I'm paraphrasing: is appreciate the times when you realize you're living in your dream, but be humble enough to realize when you're in somebody else's. Right, that shit right there. When I heard it, I was like, I've been there where it's like, damn, everything worked out. I can't believe this. And the other times you thought it was one of your dreams, and you realize this was somebody else's highlight moment. This is somebody else's shit.
Yeah.
And for that guy fighting the guy that's 290, 300 plus fights, they're selling it like this is this man's dream and you're just living in it. He might have to find out the hard way that he was living in your come up story.
Jim Miller, they put him all
Yeah,
on the
that was it.
promo.
Oh, yeah. He was,
All the
unfortunately-
stories about him, and I get it, understand it. He's done the 1, 2, and 3, so that's the story. But they didn't even put me on the promo. They didn't even put my face up there or anything. So it's like I had to go and say, all right, this is the chance. All the fans are against me. They want him to win. This is the chance where I got to make this big splash and say, no, this is my moment, you know? And that's what I'm saying. Live in that time and say, nah, I'm going to take over this shit because all the odds are
And
they don't want you to win.
everybody found out the hard way that turns out he was a chapter in your book when it comes to UFC 300. You weren't a chapter in his. You were writing. You were the autobiography.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes you find it the hard way, but it's good motivation. Question for you: when it comes to fighting, is there a fight that you've had that you tell yourself, "I need to run it back"?
Man, that's a good question. Most people don't ever ask that type of question. That's a good one. I would say this. Yeah, I would say. But this is the thing. Like, you got to go back and watch the fight yourself, and you can see them yourself. Like, I fought Jakar Close, and he the homie. And he took the fight. I'm like, homie, don't you know I'm gonna mix you? Why would you take that? You my homie though. So it's like, but I understood it. He a man and I'm a man, and I don't say no to nothing, and he don't say no to nothing. So they offered it to us, and I didn't say no, and he didn't say no. So I feel it and I respect it.
Yeah.
But nigga, we been in the gym together. I thought you knew what I was gonna do. So watch the fight back. I'm piecing this nigga up. But the only thing is, it's just a bunch of like little bullshit that was happening in the fight where he kept cheating. He kept cheating.
I met him a few times. Cool dude.
Great guy, but he even said it. He said this shit like when I talked to him after the fight, he was like, because he was grabbing him and hooking it inside my glove. Yeah. So I had him against the cage, and I started getting off, and he was hooked around my arm and then hooked my glove, so I can't move this arm or this arm. Both of them stuck. Like,
my man was trying to get the dub at any means necessary.
That's what he said. By any means necessary. This is the streets. I'm like, nigga, this ain't the streets. Nigga, this supposed we got a ref.
It's regulation.
Nigga, so we got a ref and we got judges. We got if it's the streets, nigga, I'll bite your ass and just some dirty shit.
Different situation.
Yeah. And so Jakar Close, watch that fight back. And that's one of them I would like to. But at the same time, it's like, I'm past these niggas, bro. I'd be giving him the light. Like, for instance, I want to fight Drew Dober again. Like, nah, bro. Because he said some slick ass little shit. He like, look what I did to Bobby. Like, oh yeah, okay, I got that nigga. I got you. But see, Drew was so nice. So like, your question's like, you saw him at the gym. You don't want to fight him again.
I think
it's
Drew
like, nah.
run it back too.
Drew is he's a sweetheart. Okay,
Yeah.
He's a fucking sweetheart. This guy's like, he's got like. What is it? Super bad. It was like, the guy's a fucking sweetheart. Like, you know what I mean? He's that guy. And so, like, the whole time he was super nice, trying to shake. Always like, oh, bro, I can't all like, oh, fuck, I can't even be mean. I can't even be serious with this guy.
Yeah, trying to be mad at you.
Serious for him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy's got this fucking love. And so, I wouldn't want to box him in a gym because it's like, it's fucking, he's such a nice guy. But for the public, I want to run it back and just say, like, hey, I think he had mixed me. I'll fuck him up again.
If I was Drew, I'd wonder, damn, I'm fighting on Bobby's undercard and I beat Bobby. That'd fuck me up as a whole person. I'd be like, damn, Hunter Dana, like, how am I fighting on this man's undercard? Didn't I just beat him? Like that. So if I was him, I'd be like, nah, we got to run it back too. I didn't follow, like, I almost would not want to fight on the card. Obviously, he's going to take the fight. He can take the money. But yeah, the man in me would be like, give me any other card. Don't have me fight on the other card of the dude I beat. But I think, again, there's time and place. You're above some of these people. You build your brand enough. You put on a big enough show. You've got your fight night bonuses to the point where people.
Then I beat the guys they lose to. Also, I jumped over him. I started beating the guys that he lost to. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I passed him. I'm more active in those ways too.
55-second TKO is pretty fucking way to make it clear why somebody was on your undercard versus theirs is, I mean, I don't know what anybody thought the fight was going to be, right? They never give you any heavy favorites. If your favorite is barely, or you're always the underdog. 55-second fucking TKO. It ends all kinds of fucking arguments right there. It's like, I know none of y'all expected that.
And Drew fought that same night. Yeah, Drew fought that same night. And he had a
tough fight.
I'm just more so saying, like, he had a can where it was set up for him to get his knockout. He got his knockout, and that's good to him. But, bruh, like, I wouldn't suggest him to take that fight again. I wouldn't suggest it. We had a conversation after we talked on the phone and shit. I hit him up, hit him, get my number and shit. I was like, bro, let's talk about this shit, you know? And so I was like, I just want to tell you, you know, like, it's all love and shit like that, you know? I won't be serious about this shit, but like, I just go see, told him about, let's talk about the fight. So I was doing this shit to you, I was doing this. I was like, Jim, Drew, you don't know this, you don't know, like, I'll catch you every time you do this, right? This, you know? I was trying to teach him a little game. But even though I'm telling him the game, he couldn't stop this shit, you know, because it's just his part of his DNA. I'm trying to explain to him, you're a rhythm fighter. You fight like this, and I pick all your rhythm, and I change. Oh, I got you. You know, I know how you fight, and
I would
so
love to see you guys run that back in a bigger cage.
yeah, of course.
I think that
You
you
shit. I don't even want to fight in Apexes no more, you know, because that's what I'm saying. Like Islam have the same advantage where they got me all pinned up against the cage, and now that's what everybody's strategy is: get them pinned up against the cage. It's harder to do that in that bigger cage.
Wrestlers are people who are like one shot knockout. That Apex is a fucking perfect place for you because the person that's a distance fighter, that's normally how they schedule it. They almost never schedule two wrestlers. They put the striker versus the wrestler and hope the striker can come out on top. And if the wrestler does, the wrestler does, the wrestler does, the wrestler does. Well, Apex is fucking perfect for that all fucking day long. What is it, 20 feet or 18?
I don't fucking know.
But it's smaller. I've been in the Apex. I've been in the other one as just as a fan thing. We get to get into, and it's noticeably smaller. So as a fighter, I can imagine, especially a spatial fighter, a person that likes to get distance, and it probably feels.
But even then, now I'm not even like I feel like I'm not like a bitch where I'm like oh, I need all the space so I can run, you know. And so that's where it's cost me at. As I'm still fighting and right in the pocket, like fuck you, I'm not running for you, and I get caught, bam, you know.
But again, that's it's a bittersweet thing, double-edged sword. That's why the fans love you. That's what you see will have to keep you around for sure. But at the same time, you put your career at risk when it comes to those bad times where it doesn't work out because you're willing to point at the center of the octagon. You're willing to go out there and like talk some shit.
Yeah, I do talk. But there's more to it than that. First of all, I broke the record for the most amount of hits in our division. So don't say I'm just talking because I'm working. I'm always in my numbers is way higher than theirs.
It's the ones who know.
You know, and so I'm really working. But then also in fighting, there's this little psychology part that happens and plays into it, you know? And what I'm doing to the fighter is I'm honest. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm honest. And they know that. They start to realize I'm honest. And they start realizing, hey, he's not lying. And then everything I'm telling them, because it's the truth, it starts to hit a little deeper.
Mm-hmm. Psychological.
Yeah, because I'm telling you the truth and I'm doing what I'm doing, that I can take myself away from the fight enough to watch us from the outside and talk as if I was a coach. Yeah. You know, I'll talk to your coach, I'll hear his coach, and I'll still fight and I'll talk to him. I'm having a whole bunch of plays that are all happening all at the same time as I'm making my calculations for how I should make my next attack.
To be honest, if you weren't black, I don't think anybody would criticize you for talking in the fight. I think if Patty was talking the whole fight, they'd be like, look how fiery he is. He's just fucking indulge. You and Kevin Holland do it. Is one of those, you know, them niggas talk. Yeah, why don't you just fucking fight? You know,
they hit on me and my nigga. They call him Big Mouth and all that shit. It's just like, you know, and now I see even Jamal Hill getting that too. When I feel like Jamal's trying to fight back, and I had to tell him, like,
Jamal
bro, stop.
sold that fight great, but people were giving him
so much shit. Yeah.
One person doesn't speak English, can't speak. Another person was, I've seen Jamal in person. He's actually quiet. He can be quiet.
Bro, he's one of the greatest fucking guys, but nobody's taking consideration of that, of selling a fight. Yeah. Everybody's taking it on face value as you're an asshole.
He said this. More of a thing, because Alex knocks out everybody. It became a thing because Jamal was talking all that. So what you're saying is what he did was correct.
Yeah.
What you're saying is him selling that fight the way he did and giving himself that boost of confidence also. Like, it's not wrong to give yourself a boost of confidence by making sure positive affirmations that I'm going to do this. And Jamal's a better fighter than Alex. He's better on the ground. He's better setting up. He got caught. And again, he might get caught. They fight again. Alex has a hell of a left hand, but he wasn't wrong about nothing he said either. He is a better fighter. And he sold the fuck out of that fight, especially as a headliner that people didn't want. It became the headline because of Jamal Hill, and that's not it. I love Poatan. He's cool. I don't say I love him, but I like what he's doing as his first 5 fights of his career. But a dude that don't speak English, that doesn't speak at all, didn't sell the fight. He is a draw. Jamal sold, even if I get knocked out, you love it because I talk so much. He did that for the UFC.
Yeah,
But they
I
criticize
love the
you.
characters, bro. The characters.
Yeah, they
Like you, when
criticize
you
you.
want to be able to make yourself, marketable. You want to make yourself stand out. And it's cool. Some guys are just straightforward, but it's like you got to find some way to stand out some way. And so those guys like Kevin Holland, me, they say like those talkers and those
Yeah.
things like that. Nate, they would be saying shit. Nick, I was
Yeah.
saying, I got it from those guys too. They'd be like, "What's up, bitch?" That's what
Yeah.
I seen Nick do that one time. I was like, "You can say that? Oh yeah, I'm finna turn up."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Look,
he can
Chael
do that.
Sonnen used to talk. Nobody really criticized Chael.
Yeah,
Chael
yeah.
take losses during these times you're talking. They didn't criticize it. And I don't want to be the one that
Oh,
the
yeah.
world is black and
He's
white.
known as the greatest mouthpiece.
Yeah, he's
known as the
sure of
greatest
that shit,
mouthpiece.
right? Connor talked.
Connor
became,
too.
became famous for it. Black people talk. Y'all talk too much.
Man, don't.
And it's like, it's crazy because the black people that talk are strikers. So I get it if it was a black person that was talking a lot. If Tyron Woodley was talking shit during the fight,
And
but
he
it's
hugged
only-
a lot.
yeah, then it'd be like, and you talk too much, you're not even fighting. But all the black people they call big mouths are strikers,
The scrap.
and they're scrapping. So if anything, they're backing up their
Yeah.
talk. But when Chael did it, when Connor did it, look how fiery he is. It's a whole different narrative. And maybe I'm on to something. Maybe I'm crazy. But name of the podcast, right? It's but what the fuck do I know? But what the fuck do I know, right? And for you, yeah, the talking part I love, but the hands down thing, obviously it gets you caught because
Yeah.
but that's you live and die by the sword. What are you gonna live and die by the sword your whole career?
Yeah, I'm gonna live and die by my sword for one. But yeah, the hands down is also like people don't understand. It's like it's other tactics too. Like hands down, what I'm doing to you is I'm standing in front of you.
You're not telegraphing a lot.
You're a man, and I'm a man. And it means that if I stand in front of you, you call yourself a warrior, and put my hands down, you should attack me. You should do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ain't doing nothing about that, you're being a pussy.
Yeah, we on TV. We mic'd up. What you? Yep.
I gotta go get my honor back. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. I gotta get my honor back, and you should do something about that. Like, hey, you should make me put my hands up. Where oh fuck, I need to put my hands up.
Yeah. Question. So you obviously do it for psychological warfare. Does it actually take you to a comfortable place though, like more of a street fight feel, comfortable, or is it really like majority all psychological warfare?
I'm from the streets, bro, and so like when I was younger, they used to call my style hood. They said like it's this famous picture you see of me, and they say hood style. They say for styles back in the days, I'll call my shit hood.
Yeah.
You had the boxer, you had the wrestler.
Yeah,
I'll call
hood.
my shit hood. And so the same thing with when I fight, it's like I get out there and I'll be like, what's up?
Yep.
What's up? What's happening? I'm putting myself like in, nigga, this that street shit,
Other fighters probably see it on TV or on tape, like, nah, I wouldn't let him do that to me. And then they get in with you in real life and realize, what the fuck? This motherfucker's hand is down and he's hitting me just like he did the last guy.
They ain't dealt with this hood shit.
That's it.
Be like, this nigga all in my shit, he all in my face. What's up? And then when sometimes I'll play back cool, like, nah, I'm not. Then I'll bing, I'll jump back real serious. Like, they just don't know what the fuck to deal with me.
Yeah.
And then I'll be cool,
can
and then I'll be
learn.
mean, and I'm playing a whole bunch of different
That's
roles
it.
in there too.
And a lot of these fighters didn't get in, like, I've talked to so many. I always ask them because I want to see, the differences. Most of them had no street fights as a kid. From the jump, they fought trained. They go to a gym. Nate Diaz, then Dick Diaz, they were fighting regardless.
Yeah.
And that's why their style is a little bit different. And that's why when they first hit UFC, I think, people didn't know how to like really fight these dudes. They understand the actual technical fighting skills, but they could take it to a place that you motherfuckers have no idea how to deal with that mentally.
Yeah.
Then we got a guy who's like making you a bitch, not calling you a bitch, making you a bitch during the fight, and will put his fucking hands down and slap you, and you've never been there.
Yeah,
And
it's
a different thing.
Way it's what's happening to you and how you're dealing with, how you're internalizing that. And we being from the streets, where I've been to different households and I got so many different cultures, I can read you easier from reading people, thousands of people throughout my walk, where I can see when you maybe got mad before somebody else noticed you got mad. And they'll figure out, oh, you different. They can just tell, I also have this issue all the time with me is because since I've been in foster care, I've been with the black homes, I've been in white homes, I've been in Mexican homes. So I'm just different where I got so many cultures, live around so many different people that I know rock and roll like the white boys. And I know Spanish with the Mexican people, And so I'm just different the way I talk, the way I act. And Yeah, he
I know it throws
different.
people off.
And every nigga always, I be hanging around a bunch of hood niggas. I mean, one nigga always be like, man, who the fuck is that nigga, you know? Because I come wearing something totally different than all them other niggas. I don't talk like them. And so I talk like a nigga, but at the same time, like, yeah, he says little proper words and you know what I mean?
It throws people off when you're so well rounded. People don't know how to be around you. And I tell myself that works for me. I don't have a lot of friends. I got brothers that I call brothers, right? I don't have actual physical, real brothers, but I got my real circle, and some of them live out of town. So when it comes to your circle, um, I know you have your fight circle, right? I'm watching Instagram and I see, you got similar guys all around you during the fights. But outside of the fights, do you like have a bigger circle, or do you have like that 3 or 4 or 5 people that you fuck with that you can trust? Like if you left your wallet right here, you walk out of the fucking room, you already know it's good. Do you have that, or are you still kind of figuring that shit out? Because it's hard.
I guess I'm still figuring that shit out. Like, because I come from these many walks of life with all these different people, it fucks me up because, all right, you my bro. I didn't grow up with you since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to spend at your house every motherfucking weekend and shit. We used to, your mama would take us places and shit like that. Your mom was like my mom and shit.
You like brothers.
Yeah. But then, next you know, my grandma died. I moved over here now. Now I'm staying with these white people. His family became my family now. So that's my bro. And that's my family too now.
Yeah.
And so his mom and dad is my mom and dad. They call me, they check in on me, and they, you know. And so then I moved over to Mexican people, and their family became my family. And then I met with this other Mexican girl, and her family became my family. I got a bunch of motherfucking people around me, not to mention that's just what I consider family.
Yeah.
Not to mention friends, and then we got the level of acquaintances, you know? And so
DC Young Fly said this the other day. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, he's like when you're a chef, you got to stay in that kitchen. He's like, and even though it's hot and some of the shit don't always work, there's gonna be people out there waiting for their plate, right? So you have to stay in the kitchen. You got to cook the shit up. He's like, the problem is, he's like, but what sucks is when you the chef and you try to sit down and finally eat your own meal, you realize there's nobody in the kitchen cooking for you. And I've learned that the hard way as I came into money. There's always somebody with their plate, need something on their plate.
yeah.
And because you grew up with him, like you said, that was my brother, and this is my brother, and this is my cousin, but he's like my brother, and this is that. I don't want to see him with an empty plate, especially if I'm a chef. But at the same time, these are the same people that you give them the shirt off your back, and they wouldn't give you a sleeve back off that shirt.
But they say they would.
Yeah, but they're gonna tell you they would.
I said, if I was in your position, I would look out for you, you know? But you got to remember, I came from this walk where I've been the guy that I always had my hand out, like, not like I always worked since I was 16, but I'm saying more so like
Needed
help. And whatever those people who did give help, I returned it tenfold, you know?
That's beautiful.
Because I just wanted that opportunity to show somebody to give me a chance. And they gave me a chance. It was always great. But I remember that too also now where I'm that guy when people got their hand out, I'm like, fuck, I remember being that guy. So I helped so many people also. And that gets me so sidetracked trying to help people, you know, where I want to be Superman. I want to help change people's lives. And I think they're like me where they're like, all right, they're going to try this. And once they get this pushed, they're going to take off.
Yep. So you don't follow me on Instagram, right? We'll get there one day. But I remember I told this nigga one time in the DMs, we was speaking and shit. I was like, yo, follow me. He put, did you tell me what to do? I was like, let me leave this nigga alone before our relationship gets weird.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
The way I said it, right? If you're not in person,
there we go.
It sounded like I was telling this nigga to do it. So I ain't on him, but that's when I was like, okay, this nigga really is a real nigga, because this is some shit I would have said. And you're right. And it's just funny to me. I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I was like, because I'm mean too. This nigga could be, I know he could be mean. I was like, but he was real nigga shit.
Wolf. So let's get into it. Let's unpack a little bit. So first of all, I'm blind as shit. Second of all, Instagram got these low ass pictures and shit. And a lot of people I be talking to, I get high as fuck. I forget about these niggas. So I'm like, Who is you, first of all? And I'll forget I've been talking to you in messages previously before.
This is facts.
It'd be like, it's just a new nigga I'm talking to.
Why I text a nigga now.
Yeah, texting. That's the only way.
Text this nigga
The
now.
best way to get me text me. I'm like, all right, this is one of my people. I got my phone number, you know.
It's
But
like, you have to.
yeah, so I'm like, and then like you said, with texting, it can be construed, you know. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's hard.
what you just said there, I'm like, man, I think I was probably getting ready for some fight shit. I was probably grumpy. Like, man, it sounds like you just telling me what to do, like follow you. And two, I don't follow many. I only follow like 50 people, and it's like people that
know.
either give me money.
I'll be 1 to 51 soon. But the whole point of it, right, is my Instagram. I give away shit. We're getting to like helping. And people thought I was fake in the beginning, right? Because, you know, ain't no way this dude's really giving out for no reason. But it's got to the point where some people also try to take advantage of it. I got motherfuckers that try to borrow money from me. I let them borrow money. And they post these niggas on jet skis.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you on jet skis, huh?
Yeah, I know.
You on jet skis, but you ain't giving. Okay. I'm mad at you.
That's how that shit go.
And I know as you came into money, especially last year and a half, your purchases are getting up and up. You've been on better cards, and I know the way you're saying you grew up, there has to be hands out that are appreciative. Unfortunately, there has to be hands out that make you never want to give a motherfucker nothing ever again. Can you speak on that if you're going through that?
I think I'm just more so still just in a weird space where, like, for instance, somebody will come to me all the time and they got this huge plan. They want to make the world change with this, you know? This is going to be a business, it's going to be more lucrative and blah, blah, blah. I think it's this. I feel like I'll be telling my homie this shit. And he's like, man, you always got a new homie, you know? You always got a new homie. And I'll be hanging around these niggas that, you know, I'm not hanging with these niggas, I'm hanging with some new niggas now. And it's like, what I'm telling him is I'm auditioning. You got to give a nigga a try. Gotta give a nigga a try and find out, because you gotta go find, it's like you digging and you trying to find that diamond. You gotta go find the diamond in the rough, you know, and find you bump it in, you know what I mean? You find something. And so you gotta get out there and meet people. You gotta get out there and learn about people. And you don't have to make some mistakes and bump your head a little bit like, oh, fuck, he was fucked up after all. Fuck, I try another person, you know? And then keep learning, because some, I think everybody else gets reserved and they cut themselves off from people. But you also cut yourself access to
More shit. Yeah. Some people are not mentally capable of being disappointed too many times.
Check this out. It's like Nipsey Hussle. We've been talking about Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
He got a song that I really fuck with. He said, in the song, he said, you never know who gonna wash up when the tide comes in, you know? You don't know who gonna blow, who not, you know? And I remember being that poor little kid, and I just knew I was desperate for something. Just give me an opportunity. I'm gonna show y'all, you know? I'm gonna show y'all. And everybody treated me a certain way and looked past me, and I didn't have nothing, so you don't see nothing, fuck it, move on, you know? And so I'm auditioning, I'm trying to get these people, you know, because the part of me remembers this part is that you never know who you gonna need. You never know. Like somebody said that shit like where don't be bullying the nerds at the school. The nerds gonna end up being your bosses.
I was anti-bully. I understood that as a young age. I didn't do bullying. I was getting fights and shit in school. But if somebody was being like picked on, they would come and grab me.
I fight the bullies, yo.
Because I don't do it. I've stopped being homies with some of my own friends.
I want to fight the tough niggas. I don't want to fight nobody. Don't want to fight me. I want to fight somebody that think they
Good
bad.
to know that you like that, because being able to have hands the way you have hands, right, the way you carry yourself, the fact that some people can get besides themselves and can't wait to flex on anybody. I'm a fighter. I
It's
can
a
flex.
dangerous. It's a dangerous power, bro. It's a dangerous power.
You can become a villain real quick.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like, think about it like this. It's kind of. I don't want to say this because I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but it's kind of godlike, in a sense of I can walk in a room and I'll go, if I was egotistical, and I can beat every man in this room up, you know. And we all might have our own different opinions of that,
Yeah.
but that's a lot of fighters'
When you realize
mindsets.
90% of the planet ain't fucking with you.
You could have that power. So I've taught guys how to fight and stuff, and they took in that power now and they use it for that same shit now. Now they drinking and partying, ain't gonna do any money, gonna do shit. And then they'll run outside, and every nigga ran out, it was getting dropped, slapped, arms broken, shit like that, you know, because they know all this fight shit now.
Yeah.
And so you can
That's
teach
tough.
people the wrong shit, and now they using that shit for the wrong, you know?
I'm happy you're not one of those.
Do you train often? How often do you train?
I haven't trained in years. I'm supposed to have a Cubs guy come start training me privately, so I don't have to drive all the way to Costa Mesa. But
Far as fuck.
yeah, I'm not fucking about to drive Costa Mesa every single day.
I'm right in Moreno Valley.
Marina Valley, how far is
Yeah.
that from here? I just moved here a year ago.
Moreno Valley's like maybe 30 minutes away from you.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
I might be able to make that fucking happen. Because I want my biggest thing, I want my son to start fighting. I told him, I was like, you do all this play fighting on, the superheroes. I was like, you gotta go get punched in the face when it doesn't matter at 7 years old. So when you're in high school, you're not worried about it. See, worried back in the day was just getting beat up. Now it's worried and everybody's gonna see it. It's gonna be on the internet.
Yes, yep.
And I was like, I need him to have walk around with confidence. And he's about to turn 8. And I was like,
I mean, my son wrestle. I told him he had to. There's some mandatory.
beautiful.
As a father, son
You guys
mandatory.
got people that train my son at your gym?
Yeah.
That's my thing. I want my son to fight. And I was like, I'm not gonna have him fight, but like train and me just sitting on the outside. So we train, I train.
You bring your kid too. You'll get
Yeah.
to learn about his personality and who he is. There's some guys who are gonna run. There's some guys who are gonna walk forward.
Mhm.
There's some guys who are gonna get away and get away, and when shit gets hot, they turn away. There's some guys when it gets hot, they get down, they get in it.
Fight or flight kicks
And
in.
so you start to learn about their personality. And then when I go with you, I'm going to tell you, oh, okay, I got you. You're calculating. You're like this. You're a thinker. You're this, And so you can see all these things in a fight.
Yeah.
I can see somebody in mind thinking, oh, yeah, you think about something. Bing, punch him. Stop thinking,
Mhm.
And so
Time to fight.
it's a play, but it's also personality. Like I got a homie, my little homie, Tony. This motherfucker crazy. But he had a crazy little upbringing. He'd been fucking with some drugs and shit like that. He got a wild personality where every time we'll be sparring around, you hear pat, pat, pat. We're going light and shit. You hear pat, pat, pat. I know it's Tony because Tony's personality is, hey man, those fools is looking at us, bro. Fuck this fool. And he always want to go. He's always the turned up one. You know what I mean?
I got a few
So
people like
he
that.
always that guy. It's his personality. And that's his personality. And then they did because they're gonna come get you because that's their personalities, And so fighting is all personality. Some guys just are defensive and they're more like, oh, I don't want to get hit. Or some guys like, I'm trying to hit you.
So I would love to see what my fight personality is, but my natural personality is that of I don't want no problems. 50 said this, right? But if you want a problem, okay.
We are going to find out. And I'll tell you, hey, this is your personality. And so I'm gonna find out if you got bitch in you or not.
We
gonna
can find out.
And so I go all sizes, I go all sizes. I want you to just and nothing crazy like where I'm gonna try to knock you out or nothing like that. I'm one of the funnest partners you're gonna go with, bro. It's just gonna be a fun time. But I am gonna show you some different things that okay, I got something about you. I learned about you.
I want to act just for the fact that I've called people bad actors before. And I'm like, you know what? If I could talk about them being a bad actor, I got to go in there myself and do it. Because then that makes me a whole bitch for talking about it, but not doing it.
You go to gyms, how they train you and how I train you, it'd be totally different. People learn that shit when they fucking with me. Like I've had different guys come show up. Like you fuck with Darius Flowers, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That nigga's, I call him half man. He's a half a man. And so Darius, I meet him at one of the fights, and I fuck with any nigga that's around. Any of the niggas. You want the niggas, I'll fuck them with you because we ain't got nobody but us. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And so he want to come train. I'm like, cool. I fly this nigga out. Well, no, he fly out. I give him a car. I let him stay at my little spot. He's supposed to stay at the spot, but he don't want to drive to the spot. So he want to stay at the gym. All right, fuck, he stayed at the gym. I get him a little bitch, you know what I mean, and shit. And he supposed to be there for a week, But nigga don't understand how I train, how I do it. I'm like, all right, we finna go, I'm already talking. I already saw him fight because he followed my car. So I was like, bro, when you were fighting, I'll fight you kind of like this. I told him what I do. He was like, nah, you don't understand. And you don't understand this. You got the thing about Darius, he got an excuse for everything. So we get to going, bing, 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 This nigga hit me with a kick that nigga almost shit my pants. I'm like, I'm all out of breath. This nigga coming at me hard, trying to get me. I'm fucking, I just can't breathe. I'm like, I can't move. I'm trying to move, but I can't breathe. I fight through that shit. All right, cool. I beat the shit out that nigga after that. I dropped him, and then I dropped him again. Just because he was trying to go that hard. So I'm going to give you what you're giving me back, All right.
We could have been a light spar, but you want to kind of show out.
Yeah.
Right,
you want to show me how tough he is because I've been trying to talk about, oh, you look like you got some quit in you. I'll tell you straight up. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll tell you got some bitch in you, I saw when you was here, I saw like this and this, you know? You were quitting. You were thinking about quitting. I know that look. You guys be having looks. They don't see their faces, but we see their faces, especially if you're a real, like, high-level guy like me. I'll be looking at guys. You'll see them on the bottom, and they be like, they're having his face, you know? What's wrong with his face, you know? Nah, but you see nigga that's really the, he going, he moving, and look at their face. You know, and they be telling on themselves. And so, back to Darius bitch ass. And so, he supposed to be here for a week. This nigga trained, we trained that one time, and we got to train later on that night or some shit like that. He came to our morning practice, and now he's getting to see all my other niggas. He's all right, Bobby beat me up, you know? But he don't know all my niggas around me can fight. They been fighting with me.
Yeah.
So they know all the shit and they can get down, because nigga, I make sure they can get down. And so now they all sicking on him and it's getting ugly now. I keep seeing him sit on the side of the mat. Like, I'm like, man, I knew that. I starting to smell bitch. I told him, like, he got dropped at me. I ain't hit you that hard and shit. I was like, all right, he kind of got a little bitch in him. And then I see him on the side of the mats, got a little bitch in him, you know? And then we're going to, after we finished that, we're going to do an ice bath. Ice baths are one of the worst shits I hate to do. I'd rather take 100 punches to the face than get an ice bath. But it's part of the fucking shit. And if the team is doing it, I gotta do this shit too.
That is not the same as getting in that fucking cage. I see people getting there, and I always tell them, y'all niggas got a screw loose. Because you got to have a screw loose to get in the fucking cage. So trust me, I know you like,
so you think
this nigga, like,
I got a
I'm
screw
just
loose? Is that what you're saying?
You got
a screw loose?
Hell yeah, nigga, you got a screw loose.
Oh, nigga, fuck you, nigga.
You know you got a screw
so
loose.
nah.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
all that. Like, okay, let's do it this way. If you think I got a screw loose, let's break it down this way. First of all, these niggas used to clown me as a kid. My homies all around me and shit that knew me like that, they used to clown me. Because I'll be in the grocery store, be like this.
That's beautiful.
You know, doing this shit like this. And they'd be like, I used to run from city to city. They used to clown me. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? The niggas in jail when I was in jail. They used to clown me. I'd be over there. They all doing, you know, burpees and shit like that. Yeah. I'm over there, you know? They used to clown me.
I would have had clowned you for that. But getting in half naked in a fucking cage and elbowing each other, fully sane people don't do that, which again, this is what makes you special. It's still a screw loose, but it's not necessarily a negative thing because you niggas, y'all got a screw loose.
Okay, you say a screw loose. Okay, so check this out. Now, too, I didn't dropped out of college. You know what I mean? I was supposed to be on my wrestling career and shit. And now and I got a girl pregnant within a month of meeting her. Or, you know what I mean? I'm a warehouse little worker and shit. I'm trying to get by. And now you telling me that I had a screw loose. I think it was one of the smartest things because on how it's what you learn. That's what I'm saying. If you can be safe enough where you could be, I'm going on fight 50, bro. Yeah. Fight 50, you know?
It's beautiful. It's crazy.
Where Tony ain't the same person Tony was when he was first starting, you know? You could lose yourself. You could hear it in their voices. You can start seeing certain things. And so I'm saying, even then when I got knocked, it was just a clean little something. I didn't get like, where I've been getting hurt the whole fight and busted up. And so that's what I'm saying is more so smart fighting.
It is smart.
I made, for a poor kid to make millions of dollars, you know?
It's, again, screw loose is not a negative thing. It's screw loose by being, well, you can call it peculiar, you can call it screw loose, you can call it different. You guys,
but when you say screw loose, no, you're saying insane.
Screw loose is you're insane. Not all there.
Oh, insane, crazy.
Not all there people. If people that are all there don't get half naked and elbow each other for any reason on this earth, so you guys aren't normal. You aren't fucking all there. But it's not a bad thing. That's the difference.
Interesting.
Again, I worked 120 hours a week from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. for 7 years straight to build my thing. That's not normal. People told me I was fucking crazy.
I wouldn't say that.
People told me I was crazy. I told them, I mean, obviously, technically, by technical thing, I am crazy because I'm not doing what 90% you're doing. When you're not doing what 98% of people would do, then you're not normal.
99% of the jobs I worked, I thought I was going to be doing that.
Oh, you're different.
99% of it. And that's what I'm saying. It's not just like, this fighting thing. Like, I was always trying to be the best at whatever I did. I just want to just happen to nail and sink in.
Yeah.
And that's more so what I'm saying, like more so than being insane. No, it's like, and don't get me wrong, there's a fine line they say between genius and insanity, you
Yep.
know? And so don't get me wrong, I'm pushing that fucking line. But it was sweet smarts, you know? I realized, oh, I know, like, especially when I used to fight in Mexico and stuff, I was like, they ain't learned none of this nigga shit and faking and switching and doing this.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, they ain't picked up on this. I was able to peep that. And I'm like, oh, I can make, and I never planned fighting was my second job. So I never planned. I thought it was gonna be a warehouse worker, but I didn't plan for this to work out like this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I started seeing this as I can make a cool little $800, $1,000 here, a little 1,500 here. Oh,
Yeah.
now it's 2 G's here. I'm just fighting this little side shit. It's my side job. I'm working 6 days a week in a warehouse, and then I'll go to Mexico and fight in Mexico, and then come back with a little G pack.
Yeah. That's easy money.
You
Not
know?
easy, but I'm saying that's a great side thing, and it turned out to be something. But they say you got to be crazy to outwit the fox, right? You got to be ferocious to outwit, or to outdo a lion. And it's one of my quotes also on my wall is success is chasing you, but your genetics are faster, right? And for you, our genetics, the warehouse and doing basic shit, whatever, is what you can say you had planned to do. But luckily for you, you were able to outrun how you grew up.
And so I'm thinking it's not a screw loose in terms of you just started weighing out the options. Making this much money, I can do this. It's smart. It seems smart. Like in terms of, I can always go back to that.
It's a smart decision to fight, to actually get in a cage. Sane people don't do what you niggas do.
Oh,
You don't.
shit.
Sane people don't get in a fucking cage, music, and walk in and fucking punch each other in the fucking face on purpose 20, 30, 50 fucking
So
times.
would you say the same thing about a WWF star?
Sane people don't jump off like fucking ladders. No. Sane people don't jump off of ladders and put their body in that type of
You say
position.
the same thing about a basketball player.
Basketball player, they are sane, they just skilled, highly skilled. Even though it's 1% to make it, they got to go and compete in front of
All these people the same.
millions of people. So you obviously have to have something about you, but you don't have to necessarily be insane to have a skill set and then be able to play. Some people can't play in front of millions of people.
That's my point. I'm trying to that you just nailed for me.
You guys are special in that way and the next way.
You just nailed it for me. It's no
Yeah.
difference. No difference. You just said it. It's to have a skill set.
You have a skill set. But the skill set you chose, what the return of it is, just throw a ball in a hoop. 99.9% of people wouldn't mind doing it right now. If you give them a ball, there's a hoop, throw it. 99.9% of people right now, if you're like slapbox me, we'd be like, look at you like, hell no. They would look at not just you, anybody. Walk up to anybody and say, let's fight. Let's sack spot. Let's play bloody knuckles. Let's play something. Most people on this planet won't put themselves to any type of physical pain or harm, and for any reason on this planet. Most people play basketball. If you gave them a ball, they shoot it all day. Who gives a fuck? So the ones that got really, really good at it, they have the ability to do it in front of a crowd, which makes them special. You guys are special, but you're also special, and you're also not sane. That's my argument.
Okay, yeah.
I'm hearing you.
Okay, but every sport says this. It's the hardest sport of all of it. So, like you said, would you say the same thing about football?
Football,
They don't even have to get scally nude, but then they gotta hurt themselves.
They're not completely sane at all.
Okay, so basketball's
and
good.
They are special, but the best athletes on the planet are football players. The hardest thing to ever do when it comes to a sport is fighting. That's my people. I've gone to debates about this. You could pick up that skill and become a professional. Football is past skill. You have to actually be skillful, but you have to be truly athletic. An average football player is athletic enough to play every sport. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but their body is in shape to play every sport.
I remember being a kid, and one thing I said was like, man, like sometimes it was hard to find jobs, right? I told myself I'm going to do any job possible to make money to feed my family. And then I told myself this. I said, the most important part is I need to go do the jobs that nobody wants to do. You know, do the jobs that nobody wants to do. I bet you I can excel over
It
there.
is genius to do the career path you took. It's for sure genius because it's a niche community. Most people won't do it. So if you get good at it, if you get a skill set like this, it's
But
fucking
you
crazy.
just said it before. You said like with
But
a
that's
football
special.
player being athletic, he can go did any sport, and I was athletic, so I went to wrestling and did all that, and I realized I got a few college offers and shit like that, and it's just like one, it ain't too many of us, for one, you know? And so I was telling my son, like, yeah, the probability of you going to basketball is a lot harder to get that.
One every like 20 million type
But
shit.
if
Yeah.
you went to wrestling, it's a lot easier. You could get around, throw and be around, get your scholarship that way. And now you're in a college. So I tell him that, you know?
You're not wrong, but it's still not sane. You're still genius. You're still smart. You chose it for a niche market. Some people didn't choose to do it for a living. They just did it.
So
And
it's
made
so
it
less of people
for
that's
sure.
gonna do that job. The higher probability that you could shine and be the top winner at it. And so those smarts about it, you know, and
Sometimes
picking
it's
that
smart
part.
to be a big fish in a little pond. Some people try to put people down for that. I'm like, nah. When it comes to real life, if I have a skill, if I can be skilled at a lot of things, and I know I can, why would I not pick like the
Niggas-
one that if I'm really good at this one, my competition level is a lot less. Again, the NBA, the NFL draft is today, I think, but NBA 2 rounds. All them fucking college kids, 2 rounds. You got to be top 40, and even then you got to compete with the ones that already made it. Everybody's top 40.
Niggas want to be rappers, football players, basketball players. You know what I mean? It's like that. Those is played out. I mean, there's too many niggas going nowhere else.
I know 100 rappers. I know 50 basketball. I know 1,000 basketball players. Exactly. How many wrestlers do you know? How many musicians do you know? Not many. How many politicians shit do you know? How many fighters do you know? When they can't really name any, whether they want to agree with you or not, it's like, why don't you try that avenue? If you know you can be a 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 at that, why not go that avenue? Michael Chandler, that was a great sign by the UFC. He's a great company man. He has a face. He has enthusiasm. A losing record, but he's gonna get a lot of fights. And I told him, saying he's smart. He's smart as fuck. The way he did it, UFC found that guy the way they did with DC. Take away White. DC, they sent him more money after the fight than he was expecting. He said he woke up and they just, we're gonna give him $1 million.
Yeah, but see, I think the thing you can't take from Mike is Mike has been an exciting fighter. All his
I don't
fights.
take nothing from Mike.
All his fights been exciting.
I fuck with Mike. Mike goes out there and fights.
So I feel like that's another reason when he gets his opportunities too. Yeah, he gets out there and fights.
And again, he lost. Yeah, but he only lost against the top fucking 4, top 5. So it's like, yeah, he took a loss, but that's the reason why they're top 4.
You think Mike is a
five.
BMF? That's that question.
If they gave it to him, I wouldn't argue it, but he wouldn't be my first mindset of a bad mother. Mainly for this, Max Holloway just opened it up for people like Mike. Like, he opens it up for some of the nice guys because Max is a bad motherfucker who's nice. So it opened up. But the original Nate Diaz, Masvidal, the way they sold it, Mike Chandler wouldn't qualify to fight one of these dudes for a BMF. If he's fighting right now for it, they've took the BMF and opened it up for more people. Originally, the way it came, you would have to fight for it. As a white dude, Strickland, I could see them giving him one of those, talks his shit and all that. But how many people, and you know more fighters, the original Nate Diaz Masvidal, the way they sold it, how many motherfuckers qualify for a BMF in the UFC? Not many. Conor McGregor would have qualified for it. But Mike, at that time, I wouldn't have put Mike in there with as a bad motherfucker. Again, we call it BMF now. But originally, wouldn't we call it baddest motherfucker? Mike wasn't the baddest motherfucker with his hands and the way he performed. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. But not the original belt. So he asked me, the original belt, the way it came, Mike doesn't qualify. The way it is now, I think Max and Gaethje definitely opened it up to be just motherfuckers that go out there and put on a show.
Okay, because Jorge was saying, you know, you can't be a BMF because you've gotten tapped out a few times, you know?
So you lost a couple fights. That like,
and the idea that you should go out on your shield, you should go to sleep instead of being tapped. Thank God I ain't even been in that position yet where I've had the fucking tap.
I don't. Again, I'm not in the fight positions, but I don't agree. If somebody puts you in a fucking Darce or some shit and you tapped out, yeah, maybe go to sleep. But Jorge, you know, he hasn't been finished. So it's for him, I get it from his perspective. You would never want to argue anything other. He hasn't been finished outside of Usman. So he's probably like, I don't tap. You know, I've been dropped in the backyard with Kimbo. I got back up against bigger niggas. So different mindset. But again, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to sell the BMF mindset based on Jorge and Nate Diaz,
it's got to be about the fathers, what the fathers are saying. Everybody that's holding the belts, you know, at the time.
So the people are holding it right now. Mike Chandler, I think, can fight for it because of people that are holding the belt right now. That he qualifies for that.
And Max opened it up now. He being the god of the belt. he now opened up to other weight classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mike Max, one of the few people who don't give a fuck. He'll catch weight anything. It seems like he would, right? And he's a nicer guy, one of the nicest guys. So it does open up for everybody. Gaethje opened it up, because Poirier for sure qualified as just a bad motherfucker. Like just fuck the in the ring. He's one of those like you just a real dude. He invited to the barbecue type dude.
Yeah.
Gaethje wasn't necessarily a BMF when it comes to baddest motherfuckers. He's just a highlight reel. That's why his fucking name is his name. He's one of those in the ring, bad motherfucker. But they sold it as bad motherfucker outside the ring.
Gaethje is a bad motherfucker too, bro.
He is. But the way they sold Masvidal and Nate Diaz was bad motherfucker outside the ring. The nigga that slap you and thug and I might have been in prison. That's the way they sold it. Right?
No, yes and no.
Did they not sell it? The gangsters, the only two gangsters in the UFC. There's a whole call out.
It was more so like the niggas that they're gonna scrap.
That's for sure.
That's what it was more so
in the ring
scrap.
for sure.
They got this attitude with them, but it's more so scrapping, more so that aspect, that alone. I know all the other shit, them two came with that.
Yeah.
But it's who scraps.
They came with that because the whole call out of Nate Diaz, you're the only gangster left. It was part of the selling is like, because they play that clip over 1,000 times. Like, these are two thugs and they the baddest, and in the ring, they're going to scrap. Gaethje's a scrapper, right?
Gaethje's going to scrap. Max is going to scrap. They're all are scrappers.
You're going to scrap. Patty's going to scrap.
Yeah. And so they're known for
Patty might
scrappers.
wrestle you, but Patty's going to
scrap. I think
scrap.
Patty going to shoot. I think he's going to shoot.
If he gets tipped up too much, he's going to shoot.
He's going to get hit and like, oh, shit.
Hosma is going to scrap, and he's gasses out, though. But
you're only as good as your last fight, and everybody's like, if they see you got a good stand-up, then they're like, all right, check his ground out,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be ready.
I think you'll be fine. Again, you know me, either way, my money's on you. Simple as that, my money's on you. Again, they get your judo fight. I was 50-50. I'm a real nigga. I couldn't put my money on you, but I couldn't put it on him. I was like, because it's either I was sitting here, and I think I recorded the whole thing. I might send it to, or if you ever just feel like I ever cap about nothing, everything I say, I mean. I was like, fuck. I was like, his hands are down. I was like, he gets against that cage. Jew can catch him. I was like, that's going to be the only way Jew's going to win. Is he's going to have to catch you flush. And he caught you. And I'm not going to lie, I was on my couch sick a little bit because I was like, happy Drew won. And I was sick. I was like, fuck. Because when you win it too, that's the thing. And you're winning, you're going to win.
I fought a fight. I just had surgery on my hand.
Damn.
And so they called me for Drew Dober. And I was like, listen, guys, I just got a surgery. I talked to all my coaches and I'm like, I'll do it. Y'all want me to do it? He's like, nah, you just got a surgery. Like, I think I may have been out like a month, maybe 2 at the most.
Which hand?
My left hand.
Left hand.
And so I had a broken bone in here, I had another broken bone, and they took a cyst out of my wrist. And so that's right after Islam fight. So then I'm getting my surgery done. I'm like, I'm gonna chill out a little bit. They called me for that, right? I said no. So then they called me back like 2 weeks later. And I'm like, man, I just wanted to say no. But I'm like, bro, I'm not no bitch, Yeah. So I fight him on a month's notice. And my hand was just not there yet, all the way where I could hit him good. I was hitting him some good punches, but I couldn't hit him solid,
Flush.
Yeah.
I mean.
But even then, I was still rocking him up. I had him rocked a couple of times, And I'm like, all right, I'm going to just keep, I don't want to get into a firefight with a power puncher. So you got to be smart about it. But shit happens, bro. So let me just have a favor.
He lunged with he went after it. He kind of lunged, and he lunged just enough to catch you. But like I said, that's why we talked that that'd be a great one to run it back, especially in a bigger cage, because he always going to have that power. You always is David Goliath, and you're always going to out hit him. You're going to outstrike him, and we're going to see which one prevails. And he got the first one. I would love to see a second one. I
don't even want to talk about him right now. I got my sights in on who I got him in right now.
Man, I think the Patty fight's a great fight. I think doing it in his backyard. I think him, he's a big hype train. I think on the U.S. side, you're a hype train, and I think that's gonna be a fucking banger. I think that can't be a prelim. Obviously, it's Patty, so they'll put him on the.
Yeah, I think they're gonna probably make Tom Aspinall be the co-main. I mean, main event. So maybe I can go. Yeah,
it should be. Patty's one of the bigger draws over there, and I think that fight stylistically is so great.
Yeah, he's on a 5-win streak. He's finally getting tested. He's trying to enter the top 15. So it'd be a dope fight.
As an athlete in general, the trans men in sports, what's your take on that?
It's very simple to me. It's very simple.
Go ahead.
You know, men are men and women are women. You know, it's very
Yeah.
simple. And I don't hate on nobody that's going through that and wants to do those transitions to themselves. Cool, but I just don't feel that they should be in the same sport. You know, it is what it is. We should have our own sections, and it was made that way for a reason. And now we're crossing these lines.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem fair.
How you feel doesn't dictate physics. And I'm happy for you if you're happy. I'm on your side. Same thing with me. And then people are arguing, well, maybe they should get their own sport.
That's what I was gonna say next.
And I was gonna say, but the problem with that is the media would be in trouble because it wouldn't sell.
It wouldn't sell.
You think it would, but
I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I don't think it would sell because it'd be a bunch of regular. If it's a trans woman, so it's a born man running against another born man, that's just the two dudes down the street racing each other. They're a little bit faster than females, but there's high school sports don't get on TV because the skill set.
Okay. Listen,
the skill set is: would you like if a trans man? So he's a woman now, but he was a man, or she was a man. If they're fighting in a fight, these are two. If they're not like skilled enough to like really make it, and they have their own sport, a lot of times that's gonna be two regular motherfuckers just fighting each other based on skill set. None of them are good; they're just fighting each other. I don't think it's sell.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
That was my saying. It's a bunch of average men against average men.
But think about it like this. All right, what if you had the girls that was dunking? You know, what if you had girls that were dunking?
Again, basketball.
That's what I think we don't watch women basketball.
Basketball would be one of the few sports that if they had their own thing, we'd be interested in. But I think it'll still almost be novelty. Because
I mean, I wouldn't be interested in any of it.
I would like to see females dunking. If they look like a female, they're dunking. That should be fun as fuck.
Yeah,
but the
that's what I'm saying.
They would have to be dunking, and other than that, nobody would watch it. Nobody watches the WNBA because
no dunking.
All
like
those
that.
skills are great, but nobody's dunking. So they would have to almost stick to dunking, which would make it almost novelty. That if there's not about one dunk for every 3 times a basket, we stop watching. It'd be a novelty sport. And all the other sports would be a bunch of average-born men, average skill set, or a little bit above average, playing against each other. We both know niggas at a basketball gym right now that damn near NBA level, but they're just not. Ain't nobody watch them niggas on TV because it's just a bunch of just above average niggas playing against each other isn't going to do it. And yeah, you're a trans woman, but if you're only going against other trans women, it's a bunch of average niggas racing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I don't want to see nobody racing that I can almost beat. Thing, but I always like to bring up some crazy hot topic.
Oh yeah, I know some controversy and shit.
Just to catch people off guard to see if you tell the truth.
Shit.
But again, I'm a real nigga. I won't post nothing you don't want me to post.
I don't give a fuck.
You follow politics in any way. We got this election year. Who you think, if you had a vote?
Are we talking about parties? Or are we talking about the actual people?
Let's say if it ended up being Biden and Trump, which way are you leaning? And is it because of Republican, Democrat, or is it because of the two men themselves?
Okay. I'll break them both down for you real fast. And so I will go Republican. Like all my family has always been Democratic, and I don't know why. I don't know. And first of all, that's nothing too. I'm not really big on politics. That's probably one of my weaker of knowledge. Yeah. But from what I know, from what I've learned from people and talking around to different walks of life and stuff, and so. One thing was said is like, yeah, they help out with benefits and stuff. So you want to have somebody that's more on the benefit side with Democrats. But at the same time, I'm on the money making side. And I mean, that's where they say we are more Republican. So if I have to look out for me, I'm going to be more out for me and letting me make my choices for how I'm going to spend this money. Mm-hmm. So I can help people out the way I want to help it, instead of you dictate it and it goes from these different grants or bills or blah blah blah. What
you're saying is if the stereotypes are true that Republicans are more for the money side and freedom, and the Democrats are more for public assistance and all that, then if those stereotypes are true, because as you look into it, they're really not Democrats.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know,
but the point is that if you had to go based on that, then you would have to lean Republican. Unless
it's gonna save me. I mean, it's gonna save me some money for my kids. That's what I'm thinking about. Then I'm going with that one, wherever that one is. But then in terms of the two men, I don't know much about any one of their policies or anything like that. I know like a lot of black people be kind of stirred up with Trump because of things he says and his antics. You know, I'm not watching most of that stuff, but one thing I am watching is day to day life. You know, and so one thing I can say is when we was with this Biden stuff, it's been having, oh, it's this bullshit. It's been feeling like,
Feels like a shit show.
yeah. And then when we were with Trump, at least we was getting checks. We felt like we was getting some movement, you know. And so on those two aspects, I would side with Trump in those aspects. But I don't pay attention to, like they say, the grabbing the pussy and all that different stuff. Like I ain't paying attention to none of this stuff as a person. I'm watching how shit move around me and my family, you know.
See, real nigga activities. I'm the same way. Again, I never thought I would say it, but at this point, something has to change. It can't be Biden. So if it was about
Sleepy
one or
Joe.
two people, it can't be Sleepy Joe. Again, maybe he was something back in the day, maybe when Obama ran, but at this point, when and I haven't seen every press conference, but when there's always 50 clips and you can't finish a paragraph because you just again age, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
You know, that right there, you can't be the leader of the free world because nobody even believes you're leading. And then even if you're leading, to me, it's a shit show. So, you know, the Make America Great Again, I'm gonna make a hat that says "Make us something again." Because at this fucking point, fuck whatever you want to make us, but I know whatever we are, it ain't it.
Make us something. Yeah, real
it ain't
shit.
it. You make America great, or you know, fuck Trump and all that. If Trump's the answer, by all means, you got my vote. Because at this point, something needs to change. And electing somebody that's kissing cousins with the guy who just fucked it up ain't gonna do it for me. Like electing another Democrat, if they share any like majority similar policies, why would I vote for the same thing twice that I feel fucked this up? So,
You know, it's crazy for us to be saying this, right? Because most black people that
okay, black people are not gonna fuck with this.
Yeah,
Two of us in a row
Yeah.
say Republicans. Nah. But again, but if you ask every black person that has something to say about this, I've did this. I've quizzed hundreds of black people. Why are you a Democrat? They say the same thing because they fuck with the poor. And I always say this: what have they done? And see, most people don't look into it. And like, well, you know, they they started the no all the benefits on shit that was in that Obama phones all that. That's all Republicans. And I'm like, who puts more people in jail? If they like it or not, it's a Democratic thing. And I tell, doesn't mean Democrats are bad. What I'm saying is black people only say it based on what they were told and what they're told. Majority of black people,
Yeah,
what
real
they were
shit.
told. And I'm like, that's fine. And again, Robert De Niro, I think he's a Democrat. You know, I think Will Smith is. So, and these people, they know better and they still choose Democrat, which means obviously there's a lot of positive. But for black people, they don't know any of these positives. They just assume black and Democrat. Why? Because black is broke. And it's like, black rich people, almost every black person I know with money is a Republican. Almost every black person I know without money is a Democrat because now black rich person had to look into which one he had to be because it's going to affect you. Like he said, it's going to affect your kids, it's going to affect everything. Your average black person that makes $500,000 a year had to figure out which one was good. And how come every time a black person has to figure out which one ends up going Republican? I had to do the same thing. I'm like, I have to like actually figure this out. Like, and I dial into it a little bit. I'm like, fuck, if I had to choose one that makes the most rational sense was Republican. I personally vote based on who's lesser of the two evils. Because I think all these niggas is lying. All the fucking all that policies and shit, all you niggas is lying. You're either gonna do it or don't. I don't sell me. You can sell all the other people that want to be sold. Both of you niggas is lying about that. But who do I feel is the lesser of two evils for the country? Because both y'all ain't shit. To me, the moment you have somebody who went to high school when we were still segregated, like these niggas in high school and there's two different fountains. How are they supposed to lead the world we live in now? Fuck no. I think president's age should end at 50 years old, where you can't be past 50 or 55. And then you have to have kind of like a vice president has to be older than 55. And so your advisor is the one that knew America from the jump, but the person leading and making final decisions understand at least the last three generations. You're five generations back. Your grandparents owned slaves. I'm sorry, just stop acting like you understand what the fuck is really going on with 15-year-olds, with 20-year-olds. You grew up in Jim Crow. So 77-year-old presidents, I think, are fucked. I think 77-year-old people like that should be vice president, aka a really good advisor. And you can have the younger people, and then you put them together. Not a bunch of old people telling old people about what, and then telling what the younger people need to do. So I vote for the lesser of the two evils, especially when I don't know who the fuck anybody. I don't know if I don't know all your policies. I ain't gonna go look them up. I'm an honest nigga. Right? I'm not gonna go. I got way better things to do to look up some shit that my vote might not even make a fucking difference, realistically. But if I'm gonna vote, I was like, who's the least of a piece of shit? I voted for Hillary Clinton over Trump because at that time, barely she was least of the piece of shits between her and Trump because Trump he was saying some crazy shit. Not the grab her
See,
by the
you
pussy
said
shit.
saying.
But not the grab her by the pussy shit. It's I don't care about that. That's personal life. When you're calling other countries shitholes before you get in the office, I'm like, damn, we kind of need to keep
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
smart enough to play the game as a president. So I was like, lesser of two evils. I don't care his personal shit. I don't give a fuck. He's partying in here and coked out here, grabbing them by every hole. Fuck, I got to do with me. That's nothing to do. I don't care about it. People that judge him for that. They already wanted to judge him. They hated him anyway. But
Yeah.
the shit he was saying about other countries and like, all Mexicans are fucking rapists and thieves. I'm like, bro, we work with these people. Like you can't, as a president, just say blasphemous shit, all the time.
Yeah, when it came to it, like I wanted Hillary, to get it just because of Bill. And I felt like Bill fucked with black folks, and I felt like even though they say like I don't know shit about none of this shit, but they say that at that time they was really like fucking black folks over supposedly. But I know Bill fuck with black folks, you know what I mean? And so
Bill's the reason why California is Democrat. People like California's guaranteed Democrat. Before Bill Clinton, California was Republicans. And so from when I looked into, Bill he did right by us more than he did wrong. Hillary and some of the shit she's gotten to her own, because she might have not been Bill, but Hillary works in the White House. Like she has her own thing. A lot of shit that you look into Hillary, it's a lot of crazy shit going on Hillary, but I didn't find that out until after the fact.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I don't know.
And
I
so
don't
again,
know.
I try to stay. I stay out of it because at the end of the day, if I'm not middle class, either way, I'm gonna be good. Middle class are the ones that really need to worry about voting. Poor people don't feel that shit anyway. With government assistance, whatever. We're going through a recession. Poor people don't feel a recession. We didn't have money to lose. Rich people aren't giving a fuck about it either because all these grants and all the things that fix the recession are for rich people. Middle class, 80,000 to about 150,000 are the ones that are getting fucked up by these policies. Rich people are going to stay rich. During COVID, rich people got richer. Rich people didn't get broke. Rich people got richer. Poor people actually made more money with all these free checks and shit. Free bus rides, free checks, free unemployment. Poor people did fine. Rich people did fine. Middle class got fucking decimated because it wasn't built for middle class. And there's a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. That man said this shit 20-something years ago, that one day something's going to happen to the country where everybody's going to have to depend on the government for assistance. And he said middle class is going to be destroyed. 20 years before COVID, he wrote that in the book. And when he came out with it, people told him he was crazy, right? Like we're talking about crazy genius is borderline. They probably thought he was crazy. Motherfucker, he mapped it 20 years early, said about the government assistance and, COVID. He pretty much mapped what a shutdown would be like. And he said who was going to lose, and middle class got destroyed. Every recession, middle class get destroyed. When there's no money in the United States, rich people ain't dealing with that shit. They got write-offs and crazy shit. And poor people don't feel it because they ain't got no money to lose. So when it comes to these politics and shit, part of me is kind of like, they're going to do what they're going to do. The things that directly affect me, I'll try to pay attention. Other than that, just try not to fuck us up too much. My kids live here. That's my thing. I'll die before y'all fuck up the country too bad, I think. But I'm going to have grandkids I'm going to care about. They got to live here. Can y'all try to not fuck the United States dollar up so our shit don't start spending like pesos? And whoever the one's going to look like they're going to do at least, whoever is going to help us the most or hurt us the least, cool. I'll vote for that motherfucker. And if I was wrong, I got to chop that up. But at the end of the day, then the whole question is, did your vote count in the first place? But yeah, politics, things they say don't talk about, sex, religion, politics, those are shit. I'm like, nah, we can talk about it all. The three things that control the world is the things they tell people not to talk about. Funny how that works. Sex, religion, politics. They don't want nobody talking about it. So I'm always going to ask a politic question, no matter what it is. Just make sure we're not shying away from none of this shit. 2, some type of sex question, which for, in religion. But the sex question, the transgender thing, that was
Why are you asking sex question? What kind of sex question?
I at least did the sex question for the transgender sexual.
Okay.
I mean, you went on your Instagram talking about if you got a big dick, bitches never leave you. So I don't gotta ask you no set questions.
Like, what the fuck?
This nigga sitting there in the bed chilling. Hey man, I just thought about something. High as fuck, high enough to high five God, right? This nigga, if you got a good dick, she always gonna come back. I was like, who in his DM right now? Who somebody hit him up recently that he was like, he was
nigga,
like,
that's everybody play it as. Nah,
that you
nah.
sound like you just got somebody back and like you sat there, look at yourself.
Nah,
like,
what I was just
I'm that
saying
nigga.
was I be coming with these crazy thoughts and I just put I post them in
He
shit every
posts
once
shit
in a
every
while.
time.
Every once in a while, I post them in shit.
This
And
shit
I'd be
funny.
like, man, I was just thinking about them like, man, if you got you know what you're doing in the bedroom with your chick, 9 times out of 10, those girls always go back to those guys that really pleases them.
He
You know,
wasn't
and you
lying.
just you'll never have a problem with having a girl. And like, since I was 9 years old, I've always had a girlfriend. I've never not had a girlfriend like I do what they call monkey branching. I have a girl and then I can feel shit like kind of like down her. I'll be talking to this other girl and I give it to this girl. As soon as I leave this one. And I should do that shit throughout high school. I always had a girlfriend.
I appreciate you showing up. Idle Time Podcast.
It's an honor to be on it, brother. Thank you for taking care of me, bring me out here and
You
shit.
live near. You didn't. I don't know. The drive shouldn't have been that long. Took some time out of your day.
It was an hour drive.
Okay.
I'm in Rialto. My house is in Rialto, and so
I know you got to get back in fight mindset. I know, right when you're off a fighter, about to get into another one. A lot of times doing any type of media is tough. But I appreciate you giving me a stop by and doing this for us.
I'm real selective with who I go with, bro. Like Ariel wanted me to do his show. No disrespect to Ariel, I ain't get no problem or nothing. But I was like, I did your show too much. I don't feel like doing it.
Well, I appreciate
just
you
be
doing
moving
this.
with how I move, and then you hit me out like, man, I'm gonna go see my boy. Like, and be honest, I've been getting paid for my interviews right now, and so I'm like, I'm getting paid for this shit. I'd rather do all those guys that are gonna shoot me money and the guys I got love for. That's it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you doing that because you say you fuck with the people close to you. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you fucking with me. Again,
Fuck your whole garage up with all this smoking.
no, you're all good. My mom smoked here too, man. But for you, again, we talked on shit that some of us trying to figure out politics, but that's the whole point of the podcast. Idle time, but what the fuck do I know? And some of this shit I didn't fucking know. He put me on. Some of this shit he's figuring out at the same time.
We're gonna train together. We're gonna learn a lot there too.
We just talk. Yeah, he gonna try to tip me up. He's gonna touch me. I was like, I just need to touch.
I want
back.
you to try to touch me. That's it. That's gonna be the fun part. That's gonna be the fun
I'm
part.
gonna lay down. Hey, we'll take it's about getting touched, but I slapbox you right now, open hand for sure. But we get in there too. I'm never worried about it. Worst thing I'm gonna do is lose something. But I'm grew up in the 80s, 90s. Like we lost shit.
Yeah, I just think it's a dope thing to do. Like it's like playing chess, it's like playing human chess.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, I watched, and then I'm gonna talk to you after. Like, yeah, you were doing this. I'll talk to you during the fight.
You're supposed to.
You were doing this. I caught you here for that. I caught you. I knew you can do that. Yeah, bing, bing, bing. I catch you with that.
That's the point.
So,
and I'm
I set you up with this.
learning.
I set you up with this. I did this like this. And so just really give you the game. So you'd be like, man, oh, that's why you do that? Or that's why you do
people on the
that?
planet will be able to do it to me because you gave me the blessing of trial and
You
error.
could run it on everybody else. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was gonna spar with you. Similar, I was planning to spar with Rampage. Like, and I told him I'm not trying to like prove anything. I got nothing to prove. I just want to show you some cool shit. Like, it's low key. It's fun to me. Like, you gonna see me? I'm gonna be laughing in our sparring, and I'm gonna make it funny. Like this nigga's a fucking clown.
Let's
so
do
it's
it.
gonna be so funny, and we learning how to fight too.
Keep the
rounds low.
I got no win.
Got no cardio. So keep
win.
the rounds and the time low.
Yeah, even a street fight. After it went past like 2 minutes, I can lose to a 15-year-old because after that, I ain't got it.
There we go.
And then I take my one of my fighters. She's like my business partner.
Bring him on too. Bring him on too.
About to go pro. He has a fight in May 25th in Ocho's league, but he's out here, Menifee, 135.
Okay, yeah,
he
bring
probably
him
should be
on.
fighting at 155, but he can get down to 135.
Yeah.
But he needs to train right now. He's at a Cubs gym. I sent him to Fortis MMA in Texas to train there and fight in Texas. And he fights at a Cubs gym.
Menifee ain't too far away.
Nah, he lives. He'll go if you tell him he can go and get some work. He'll go.
Send him through.
He's calm, cool, collected. He just wants you to teach him something, man. Just all he wants is to teach him and make sure he gets less and less, getting his ass whooped each time. I was like, I got you. I was like, I'll buy your trainer, do all that, get into fighting. I was like, I need you to go spar soon too, because I need to know if you can get punched in the face. I said, you haven't been hit in the face since you're like 8 years old. I was like, if you can get hit in the face, I'll keep paying for your training. I was like, but I'm not gonna pay for 5 months before you get in somebody's ring, and it turns out that you don't know how
Not
to get
just
hit.
that, but also guys, when they train, I noticed a lot of gyms, the guys train like, and it's like a dance, and you're doing under this stuff instead of keeping it more real. You know, trying to keep it real.
I know as a Cub has a bunch of people in the contender series. You know, if you get good, you can do that. I was like, but you have to find your thing. You're
You need
amateur
to
right
find
now.
where everybody whooping your ass at.
Yeah.
That's what you need to go find. Where
So-
everybody beating you at, and then get better than all of them.
Yep.
Well, we do it all. We do it all. We control spar, and we go get it in.
Beautiful, man. So appreciate you fucking with me, Bobby.
Oh yeah, brother, appreciate you.
This one ain't nobody. But it's more important to be nice.
No, you should be capable of it.
Until I started winning.
Cause on a mission, your worst enemy is idle time.